Yeah, welcome back to the PowerPark here in Finland, ready for our top 16 battles. It has been epic so far, and I reckon it is only going to get better. I'm pleased to say, joining me here at the start line is commentator Dave Egan. Mate, what an atmosphere it has been here. It's incredible.
I'll tell you what, theme parks are always about adrenaline, right? Nobody has ever felt adrenaline like we got on that start grid in that top 16 parade. This is the wildest place I've ever been for passionate fans, and they got some of their best in the business on the grid in this top 16. They are amped for this one.
Yeah, it's been amazing on the track, but you know, off the track, the fans have sold out the place. They've packed it out both days, and we even had a proposal a minute ago.
Yeah, we had a proposal after the top 16, and there was just emotions flying everywhere. Exactly what you want from a sporting occasion, passion, and everybody here just amped to get going. I hope you guys at home are ready for what will happen, because it's going to be special. Yeah,
very much so. And you were master of the ceremonies. You've definitely done this before.
I've already lost my voice because there was no point in talking over them fans. They were singing louder than any PA system will ever be. It's been amazing so far, and we're only getting started in this main event.
Yeah, Finnish fans in the building. If you're still listening, make some noise, because it's great to have you here. All the Finland fans.
What an amazing bunch of people.
Yeah, incredible stuff. What else has been incredible is what happened in the round of 32. There's been some shocks.
Huge shocks, and that's what's been the story of the whole championship. I mentioned it on commentary in the top 32. Anybody who's come into a round as the championship leader has gone out in top 32, and that's what happened this time around. But this time it was Kalle Rovanperä, the WRC champion, smashing into Conor Shanahan. Shanahan goes through in a very tough battle after going one more time, and big damage to a lot of cars early on in the competition. Conor Shanahan getting the job done. That was a tough start to his campaign this weekend, but you know, to beat the World Rally Champion, he must be oozing confidence now.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably buzzing with that, because he did say to me earlier on that I bring him the luck. But here's Mika, who was a little bit unlucky, it's fair to say.
Yeah, and he said himself, driver error, just the occasion got to him, he over-rotated, and our championship points leader goes out in top 32, which means everybody chasing him now has a massive opportunity for the next couple of hours to get back into that race.
Yeah, it's wide open, isn't it? That's the exciting thing about Drift Masters this season. You know, it's really hard to call.
Well, you know, Peter had a slip-up. Więcek, two-time champ, has a slip-up in Sweden. You think, that's all over. His biggest rival, Dwayne McKeever, goes out the same thing next round. We don't know where this championship is going, and I think that just makes it even more entertaining. And I think we used to have our favorites. Now the whole grid is stacked. You can't call it.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, Dave, thank you very much. I'll let you get off, because you've got some stairs to climb. He's going to be taking over some commentary duties in a moment, but we are moments away from the top 16. As Dave was just saying, the top 32 was already electric here on the track. The top 16 set to be even better. Ian Waddington, over to you, mate.
Thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, it is going to be electric, and the scene is set, the crowd is ready, and the atmosphere, well, those two guys just said it, it is electric. We're in a go-kart track in the middle of Finland at a theme park. Does it make sense? As Dave Egan always says, it doesn't have to, because this is Drift Masters, and this is how it all goes down. Top 16 is ready to rock and roll, and let's take a look at those grid as they make their way out for the top 16 parade. 16 drivers got the crowd absolutely cheering, stand on their feet and singing and shouting, especially for the Finnish drivers that are still on the grid. Dave and Nick just spoke about it. They've got the best of the best. Jarkko from nowhere, the wildcard entry, made a stand-up appearance this weekend. Can he be a wildcard that we'll always remember? Let's talk about that top 16 grid, though, and let's talk about how they go head-to-head. It's going to be Conor Shanahan against Paweł, Grosz, Juha Rintanen against Keski-Korpi. One of the Finnish drivers will go out against a Finnish driver. My shout for this weekend, Eryk Goczał. Will he be the local man, the wildcard, the man out of nowhere this weekend that has stepped up to the plate? We've got Pesur versus Korpuliński, Więcek versus Correia, Piskolty versus Andersson, Heinonen versus Zakouřil, and the last battle of our top 16 will be the one and only Jack Shanahan to take on the Lithuanian superstar Benediktas Čirba. Things are heating up, the track is heating up, the sun is out, we expect no rain, so this is going to be hot and heavy for top 16. Well, the rides are packed, the grandstands are packed, and I tell you what, every seat in this house is filled, whether it's not being used because everyone's using the edge of it. It's almost time, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off our top 16. Well, he's going to be feeling the pressure all weekend There's this young man, Conor Shanahan, now begins to warm up the tyres on the back of that Red Bull Toyota GT86 down there at the back end of the grid. He's going to be the first battle out every single time we come to a new part of the bracket. But this time he faces off against a sturdy competitor, the Polishman, Paweł Grosz. We haven't seen a lot from him this year. He's yet to make a big name for himself. But could this be the standout weekend where Grosz says, I've had enough of being in the shadows. I've had enough of being in the paddock watching from the sidelines. I've had enough of being a name that isn't enough. Can he take down the man right now that top qualifying yesterday and took out the WRC Rally champion? Well, he's been asked the question, can Conor Shanahan face it? The judges said that this man right here, Shanahan, if he continues with that qualifying run, that lead line that he's been doing all day, all weekend, he is going to be a tough competitor to beat. Grosz sits on the line with a car that looks a little bit more battered and bruised than it usually does from a top 16 or a top 32 competition, where Oran Nilsson took a chunk out the back of it earlier on today. They get the thumbs up all round. Marcin, our start line marshal, has donned his shirt, which means it's game time. It's time for business. Grosz takes a step back. He wants to run in. The light goes green. This is it. Top 16 is underway. Shanahan to lead out. Paweł Grosz, 286s, two sturdy competitors, but Grosz takes a shallow line in outside zone 1, but look at Conor Shanahan deep into outside zone 2, but there's no shaking the Polish driver as he now flicks it through the circuit. Deep into outside zone 4 goes Conor Shanahan as he looks for Grosz. Grosz makes a dive, knows not to take too much out of it this time, but he gets up on the inside. Look at this, onto the door goes Paweł Grosz. He tags the wall across the line.
Incredible stuff from both of these guys, Ian, and the electric atmosphere in here is definitely going to mean some of these drivers are going to push probably harder than ever before to impress this sell-out crowd in the Mikko Salo circuit in the PowerPark. I'll tell you one thing, Conor Shanahan not putting a foot wrong in that lead position. Paweł Grosz having to do a little bit of cutting to catch up. He takes a shallow line through the first corner. Shanahan looks like he's figured this one out. He's figured out that lead run all the way from top qualifier yesterday. Right now, he looks like he's not putting a foot wrong, but Grosz does a good job of staying in the game. He stays in contention all the way through, but he's not hitting those zones. He's not matching the angle. And right at the end, he does make an unforced error. He tries a last-minute dive onto Shanahan's door, and he hits the wall hard in the chase position. You'll see as they go up onto the bank, Grosz goes deep, hits the wall, and straightens out just across the finish line with all four wheels pointing the same direction as he goes across that finish line. Judges won't miss that.
No, they won't. They won't miss a trick, Dave, because they've got all the camera angles and every single view of this circuit. Looks like Paweł Grosz taking a moment to cool that car down potentially. The sun's out, Dave. It's hot down there on the track. And look, we have a 2-minute clock. These guys have to return back to the start line within those 2 minutes. It's getting warm. It's getting hot and heavy down there. There's a lot of tension in the air. I can feel it.
Everyone wants to win this one, that's for sure. And the crowd here are making everybody drive over and above their ability. I mean, I'm down there with goosebumps on my arms. Everybody's just feeling the vibe of this incredible event.
I was up here emotional myself, Dave. There was an engagement on track. We had an incredible top 16 parade. It was a moment to be had there.
It was one of those "Are you not entertained?" moments. It was a lot going on. Conor Shanahan, I think, sits with a little advantage here. Grosz making an error. However, Shanahan now jumps into the chase position, has to make the decision. Does he go super close to seal the deal, or will he make an error if he overcommits? Grosz was very good on his lead line in the top 32, so let's see how this one matches up. I love the fact that we've got two very similar cars here, so this is going to be all about the driver.
It certainly is all about the driver. And we know that Shanahan's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience under his belt. Well, here we go, off the line we go. Paweł Grosz to lead them in. They flick the cars from left to right through outside zone 1. Little dip up and down. I think Conor maybe on the curb there. Paweł Grosz on a beautiful lead line at the moment, though. Shanahan dips the nose at 86 onto the door. Good transition back from Shanahan, and Grosz right to the wall. Incredible lead through the centre of the circuit now as Grosz goes even wider again. A little wobble from Shanahan as they fire through outside zone 6. Look for the wall. Up, no problems this time, but look at Shanahan on the door.
I think it's going to come down to that last corner. Shanahan just having that little bit more aggression and no mistakes. I think, you know what, Grosz did an amazing job in the lead position. That's the best run he's put in all weekend, and he needed to climb back into that battle. However, at the same time, Shanahan has a little wobble here. Look, jumps forward a little bit. He saves it, but it's not smooth from Shanahan on the first corner. But once he gets into the groove, it's pretty smooth from there. And I think the one thing is he's got a lot more proximity throughout the entirety of the course. Like Grosz, who is cutting a lot of the track. Watch how wide Shanahan is here in the chase. He's almost just to the edge of the box, so he's not on the inside of the track. Judges will be watching that. Shanahan transitions a little bit too early here, in my opinion. He has to sort of extend the drift a little bit, but he does recover very, very well and get back onto that last wall run. And where Grosz hits the wall, Shanahan does not.
Yeah, I think it was a textbook. A few moves there from Shanahan. He got himself back into the fight. You know what? Taking nothing away from Paweł Grosz, because it was an incredible lead.
Yeah, right now both Shanahans are still in the competition, but will they be after this result? Paweł Grosz doing an incredible job of getting up close and personal to Conor Shanahan throughout the run. The results are dropping in, and it looks like going through to the top 8 will be Conor Shanahan. Conor Shanahan gets the win and goes through. He's taken down Rovan Perä. He's taken down a Paweł Grosz who's on form. Quickly over to you, Kev. Was it that wall hit from Grosz that, you know, made the difference?
It was definitely one of the deciding factors in it, Dave, but I think overall, comparing the lead to lead and chase to chase as well, Conor was just a little bit cleaner on both the lead and the chase. So I think that was the nail in the coffin for Grosz, unfortunately, having that impact with the wall over the line, and definitely enough to give Conor the win.
Thanks, Kev. And we have Nick down on the starting grid. Nick, Conor Shanahan is through to the top 8. He's had a tough day at the office, but he's still in the hunt.
Yeah, he is still in the hunt. It has been an interesting day for you, Conor. You know, it was pretty close a little bit earlier on in the top 32, but you made light work of that one.
Yeah, for sure. Kelly had me on the ropes. I'm not going to lie about that. It was a very difficult battle. I obviously respect this guy as a world-class driver. You know, everybody knows the reason there, but I also respect him as a world-class drifter. And I think some people forget about that. It was a final from the get-go, and to be honest, he really could have beat me if he tidied it up on the first one. I was on the ropes for sure, but I'm happy to get the win over him, and it's a reset focus now. I enjoyed this battle. It was nice. I could get on the door, get a little bit more comfortable. I'm hungry, to be honest. I really need to get back in this championship fight, so I'm glad it's a top 8 finish no matter what now. I'm excited.
All right, good luck. Nice one, mate.
Thanks, Nick. And top 8 points in the bag, especially with, you know, Dwayne and Kiever dropping out there in the top 32. Więcek, your move now, I guess, for a company. The Lauri Heinonen, your move now. And we've still got Jack Shanahan. We still have Juha Rintanen in there. All those guys. Let's see where it stacks up by the end of today. But there's a lot of interesting developments in this championship the more rounds we go through, Ian. It's definitely wide open. So we have got Keski-Korpi on the line, and we have got another Finnish driver on the line. So Juha Rintanen will go up against Mika Keski-Korpi. It's an all-Finland battle here in the top 16. Rintanen comes in with the turn of form after winning in Sweden. Keski-Korpi's had some car issues up to this point this season, but it looks like things are coming together now. This is going to be an interesting one.
Well, this is a loss for the Finnish fans right now. One of their fan favourites is going to go out.
Look at the run-in Keski-Korpi's taking him. He knows how fast Juha Rintanen is.
He certainly does. Look, he's got a bigger car. He's got a lot more weight to throw around. And here we go. Rintanen fires that car in, and that's not really done Keski-Korpi any favours. Now he's trying to play catch-up, and he does play catch-up. He backs that car to the wall. Juha Rintanen puts it on angle, fires through that inside zone, looks for outside zone 4, he's there, but Keski-Korpi shuts the car down in the middle of the circuit, and I wonder if he's had the same problem he had earlier on today in practice. No, he's getting back into it. That car just not playing ball, and this is going to be the tail of the tape for Keski-Korpi's championship.
It looks to me like there's some mechanical gremlin in that car, and every now and again it just shuts off completely. It happened in qualifying, but he got the qualifying second run. It happened in his top 32 battle. Luckily for him, Dylan Garvey wasn't in the battle, so he could make that mistake. But you ain't going to make any mistakes against Juha Rintanen and get away with them, and Rintanen was up and gone through that run. We were looking at Keski-Korpi in the chase, just trying to see what he was trying everything. Just cutting across the curb. Watch this transition across the curb to get in back into the fight, but Juha Rintanen's lead run was sensational, absolutely perfect.
And you can see here, look, you see no tyre smoke, so that car just literally shut down, and that's been happening to him all weekend. And again, another driver plagued with these car issues, Dave, having a massive problem with these car issues.
Well, you're pushing a machine very hard here. You know what I mean? It made it seem like you've only got, 30, 40 seconds, but you are on the limiter, you're smashing through the gearbox, you're smashing on and off the clutch, the brake, the accelerator. It's every component in the car pushed to its absolute maximum. And sometimes the cars just say, I've had enough. And now he's got to go into the lead position with a car that he's not sure is going to even complete this run.
Well, there we go. He's in the lead position now, and he flicks the car across the circuit. Juha Rintanen goes for that little dive, tucks up that GR86 inside, but loses a little bit of ground. He's not too much to lose in this battle, and the car does it again to Keski-Korpi, and that makes it sketchy now for Juha Rintanen to try and chase, but they do stay in it, do make their way down to outside zone 5, and Juha Rintanen, you can see now driving 50%, just trying to keep himself in the game, but not do too much and risk damaging the car, but does tuck it on the door, just gives him a little nudge to say to his fellow Finnish, see you later, matey.
I'll tell you what, that was a very professional chase from Juha Rintanen.
Yeah.
He watched the entry from Keski-Korpi. He knew Keski-Korpi had an incomplete from the first run, so he was like, I don't really need to do too much here. And then he said, oh, he's straightened up again, I'm backing off. So
yeah.
very clever. Watch Rintanen. He doesn't overcommit on the entry. He says, I'll see what happens here. And as Keski-Korpi comes in, he sort of has a weird line here. He gets to the wall pretty late. He does get to outer zone 2, but he gets there very, very late. And right here, it looks like to me like the car shuts off just about here. He just drives completely straight. Rintanen backs off. Look at him on the handbrake here going, whoa, what's happening there? And then he just has to kind of see if he needs to follow from there, which he doesn't need to do too much.
No, like I say, he kind of reined it in 50%. He didn't want to do too much, and then I think once he realised the car was working again and he was back in his groove, and Keski-Korpi got up on the outside zone, he said, I'll give him a little tag on the door so he can go home and just remember me for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. And I feel so sorry for Keski-Korpi because that's not a driver error, that's a machine error. So from that perspective, he's helpless. He can do nothing. He doesn't know what's wrong with the car. He's trying his best, but every time the car was working, he was where he needed to be, and it was only those errors with the car shutting off that actually cost him this. So we're going to have the judge's decision drop in. I think this is going to be a pretty obvious one, and there will be a Finnish driver going through to our top 8 to face Conor Shanahan. It's going to be Juha Rintanen getting the win. Juha Rintanen goes through to the top 8. Much to the delight of the fans, but unfortunately that is the end of the weekend for Mika Keski-Korpi, and a pretty obvious one there, Ian. As I said, you know, you gotta have the car working to get through these battles, and these guys are sharks in the water. If you have any weakness, they're going to take you out.
Yeah, certainly, yeah, there are sharks in the water and they will take you out. All this does is strengthen, though, the championship race.
Yeah, well, Nick is down with Juha. Juha must be over the moon into another top 8, Nick. He is on fire.
Yeah, the commentary team there, Juha, saying you're on fire at the moment. Into another top 8, you must be happy.
I'm very happy. It's great to be here, yeah.
Yeah, and the momentum after Sweden, you know, has that helped you? Do you think you've carried that into this one?
Yeah, I definitely think I've got more confidence, and now the car is working great, so just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, well, we'll let you get back to the paddock. Good luck for the rest of the competition.
Thanks, Nick. I think if I was Conor Shanahan right now, I'd be a little worried about this man. He looks very fast, very fluid, and again, cool as a cucumber. Absolutely no stress whatsoever.
No, I mean, look, if I was Dwayne McKeever, I'd be very worried, because right now, Juha Rintanen's kind of getting himself into a position where he could take the championship away from him. The only man stopping him at the moment is Peter Więcek, who is still in the competition.
Yeah, and Lauri Heinonen is still in the competition, so there's a lot of contenders still in there, and this is an interesting one. We got 2 guys who've never made a top 8 in Drift Masters on the line. We got the wild card from Finland, Jarkko Jylhä, in that beautiful JZX 100 left-hand drive, you'll notice as well, which is very unusual. So we got Jarkko going up against Poland's Eryk Goczał. Goczał has been on rails all weekend. One of your standout drivers from practice and 32. This is going to be interesting. 2 very on-form drivers now in the top 16. Both never made it this far in the competition. One of them will get to the top 8. Let's see what happens as the lights go green and we head into another battle here in the top 16 of round 3 of Drift Masters in Finland, in a theme park. And now we're about to head on the roller coaster where these 2 guys are going to put on a show.
Well, here we go. They get the thumbs up all round. The lights go amber and the light goes green. Jarkko Jylhä, the higher qualifier, to lead out Eryk Goczał right now, flicks it across the circuit. Look at Goczał, goes for that technical initiation. He knows he's got the faster car. He knows he can apply the pressure, and he starts to apply the pressure. Jylhä in the outside zone, but look at Goczał, matches the angle, gets himself through and into outside zone 4. He's all over the side of that Toyota Chaser. Earlier transition, but he's made a big error. Down on the inside now, he needs to work himself back into the groove. Onto the door he goes. Jarkko Jylhä's late to outside zone 7.
Yeah, interesting battle, as you can see. Jarkko not making too many errors in the lead position. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. And Eryk Goczał, he made a big lunge down the center section of the track, and it kind of caught him. He had to transition early, put him in no man's land. Very 2 different entries here. Big angle from Jarkko as he goes in, but Goczał then starts to reel him in through the first corner. He, as you said, has the pace in that BMW to get as close as he needs to get. And this was all looking pretty much like Eryk Goczał. You know, it was smooth, everything was great. The lead line was pretty solid. You can see staying away from those 2 white lines. Goczał using them to get into the fight. And this is where I think he puts the pressure on a little bit too much. He gets caught on the inside, transitions way too early. Now he's like, oh, I'm in the wrong place. That's a straighten in my book. And he has to come back on angle again. However, he does have exceptional proximity everywhere else. So 1 error, a lot of good, a little bit of bad, and the lead run pretty solid. So at the moment, I'm not sure which way the judges will call this.
No, I'm not. And I don't know. I'm looking at this lead line, Dave, and there are a few errors creeping into it. When you look at the initiation, he missed outside zone 1, for instance, and then he misses that final outside zone. He wasn't as deep on 4 either, so I don't know if the judge is going to take that into consideration. We've swapped him around. It's going to be Goczał now to lead out Jarkko Jylhä for a spot in the Great 8 way through the gears. He slams Jarkko Jylhä on the handbrake. Big fast initiation, though, from Eryk Goczał now as he applies the pressure. Dials that car in up into the wall in outside zone 2. And look at this though, from the wild card, fires through the middle of the circuit, doesn't want to let the Polishman get away, almost contact. As they both wobble towards the wall. Goczał, though, not on the cleanest line into outside zone 5. They get up onto the bank, into that final outside zone, and Jarkko on the door.
Wow, Juha doing an amazing job in the chase position. And it looked to me like Eryk was going to hit the wall in outer zone 4, and he had to back out of it, straighten up the car a little bit, and I think that threw off. I mean, there's so many moments in the chase position where you're like, am I going to crash? I think I might crash. Maybe I should back off. And I think that was one of them. I think he backed off because he thought that Goczał was going in the wall. Watch this. As they transition, Goczał goes too fast. He has to he's to back out of this. And then you can see that's where he slows up.
Yeah.
And it looked to me like that Jarkko was like, whoa, I'll have to slow up as well. And I think it hurt Jarkko more than Eryk in that position because he was afraid of a big collision there. Now that's obviously my opinion, layman's opinion. The judges will see things completely differently usually, but from a critical point of view, they'll be analysing every detail here. From us, it's an instant reaction like you guys watching on here at home. I think there's a couple of errors on both sides there. That's not a clean battle by any means either way.
No, it isn't a clean battle from either side, really, Dave. And I'm just wondering what the judges are thinking, what they're talking about, how this one plays out in their head. And look at this from Jarkko on the outside zone. Absolutely dull. Little dab of the handbrake, just like, yep, there we are. That's it.
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea.
No,
I have no idea which way this one's going to go because there was a lot of moments throughout the two runs that you could argue your case for being a definitive moment. But a decision will be made from the judges, and it will be for someone to go through to the top 8. We wait for the scores to drop in. Both of these young men have huge futures in the sport, and I'd love to see Jarkko come back to another Drift Masters round outside of Finland. He is a real superstar. We love his car, we love his style, and he drives on the edge. We love it. But who's going through to the top 8? Scores are dropping in. And would you believe it? It's a split decision, and it is a one more time. A one more time. Early call for Jylhä, but then the other two judges go for a one more time. Kevin, you guys not getting along up there. Split decision.
It was a split decision, but it was very, very close. And look, if you'll break it down, Eryk definitely was the better driver over the two runs. He had a better opportunity for a chase run, and he probably had a better chase run as well. But he made that very big mistake. So for the two guys here, it was enough for him to warrant getting a one more time. For me, in my opinion, I think the mistake was just enough, just too big to give him the win overall. But that's why we have a majority vote here. We have to see him go one more time.
Well, I'm not complaining. I don't think anybody else here is. The Finnish fans are certainly not complaining as they get to see another two heavyweight contenders head to the line. This is what I've been looking forward to since I saw the battle tree. It's Paweł Korpuliński, who has been unbelievable. Took down Dwayne McKeever, and now he goes up against Kevin Pesur, who has been a standout star in practice and qualifying and 32.
I mean, look, from qualifying yesterday all the way through to today, he just keeps getting stronger every single run. But I'm going to keep repeating myself. I'm going to keep saying, Paweł Korpuliński, this is his style track. This is what he loves it. He dreams in these circuits.
And you know what? He's a sim racer, and he's been on the sim, he said, all week. He's put over 2,000 laps of this circuit virtually in before he got here. So he has got that muscle memory down. And I think he's going to be all over Kevin Pesur on this first corner. I think this is a highlight reel of battle. Get your phones out. The snapshot this one. This is what it's all about. Look at this.
Oh wow, he's going to have to be all over him, and he will be all over him. Look at this, Kevin Pesur, nice and early to outside zone 2. That line is impeccable, but he did wobble. He did make a hit there with the wall, and that didn't really upset Korpuliński there. Paweł Korpuliński now looks for the door of the other BMW. They fight down inside, outside zone 5. Looks for the transition back on the bumper. Disposed of already, but they're shallow on the bank. Is Korpuliński. This one scrappy, Dave.
You know what? It started for me with Kevin Pesur hitting the wall. I think it settled the battle. I would have liked to see Korpuliński get a little closer at the start of outer zone 1, and he comes really close on the initiation, but he backs off a little bit. He has to jump across, which is probably okay. He gets on it here, but watch, Kevin Pesur has a big hit with the wall, which backs off Korpuliński as well. I think from here, though, the transitions from Korpuliński from this moment on are absolutely outrageous. Watch the front of Korpuliński's car, how close it is to the back of Pesur's car as they transition through these zones. He has got some confidence. This last one, I think he takes the bumper off. Watch as it comes through. Boof, takes the bumper off Kevin Pesur's car as far as I can tell. Could have been from the damage earlier on, but I'm going to believe that it was the transition.
You've told yourself.
I've told myself it's from the transition. But Korpuliński, I think, you know, in a lead position, he's very strong.
Yes.
He's a guy that doesn't get wavered too much by any sort of occasion or situation. He's hit podiums before in Drift Masters. Pesur trying to get to his first top 8. The duct tape's back out from Marcin. That duct tape is strong stuff.
I mean, it's
Plenty
of it.
I was about to say, Marcin, if we are going to have another 3 rounds of this, we're going to need a lot more duct tape, I'll be honest. Marcin's going to need a whole roll the size of himself beside him to try and put these cars back together. But here you have it, Kevin Pesur and Korpuliński ready to go off the start line again. Now, Pesur has to tidy it up, has to go close. He needs to get back into this one.
He certainly does, and he's going to need to fight for the door. But look at this, Korpuliński's going to want to try and get away. Look, quick initiation, no messing around. But Korpuliński gets himself into a shallow angle from Pesur. He doesn't want to make contact with the wall, but he does want to make contact with the door. Korpuliński's 200 SX. They fire through outside zone 4. And now Pesur starts to get himself off that line, starts to shortcut the circuit, trying to gain proximity with Paweł Korpuliński. Korpuliński on an absolute flyer as he gets it across the line.
That's a super run, lead and chase.
Wow.
Everything there was pretty textbook on the door. Do you know what I love about that? It shows how good this track can be when both drivers don't make any errors. It was super from Pesur and from Korpuliński from the off. Pesur times the initiation lovely here. Gets into the pocket straight away, but Korpuliński allowing to do that by that smooth run to the wall. Korpuliński's just grazing the wall with the spoiler as Pesur, look at that, right up close and personal through the first corner. And on the transitions, they were all mirroring everything. Look at Korpuliński, perfect lead line, staying outside of those zones. Pesur able to use those. He starts reeling them in as they come down through the center section. Look at that big dive from Pesur, staying up onto the door. He's been phenomenal all the way through this and very controlled. And on the last transition again, Korpuliński doing a better job again early to that outer zone, allowing Pesur into the pocket. So while Pesur's chase run to me was better, was that allowed by the better lead run of Korpuliński? That's what the judges are going to be thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you there, Dave. I'm going to agree wholeheartedly. I think the only mistake that Paweł Korpuliński made was going to the final outside zone. You can see there on that camera, he was a little shy. Apart from that, it was a very good run. And look, do you know what? Kevin Pesur's having an awesome weekend. He's already enjoying himself. He's waving to the crowds.
But both of them want to win. That's the thing. These guys will be all, oh yeah, no problem, buddy, great times. But they want the result. They want to go through. I mean, they are very polite, humble people, but they are super competitive, and they want to go through to the next stage of competition. And both of them will probably think they've got a good chance in this one.
Well, talking about the contact.
Yeah, so Kevin Pesur saying, I hit the wall on the first corner, and he's like, yeah, I did. So maybe he's thinking that Korpuliński might have a better shot here. Korpuliński, he's a guy that, you know, he stays kind of to himself at an event. He stays super focused. He says, you know, it's business time, and he wants to come here and do a good job and get himself into that top 8 on his return to Drift Masters. But I have no idea which way the judges are going to go on this one. We look like we have results dropping in any time now. Oh, there's some tension down there on the grid. I don't know which way this one's going to go. It's for a space in the top 8, and it means so much. The top 8 for any driver in Drift Masters is almost like a win.
It means a lot, yeah.
It's a successful weekend once you get to top 8, top 16. I think most of these guys will be pretty happy with that. We have scores dropping in. Who's going through to the top 8? And it is going to be Kevin Pesur. Kevin Pesur from Estonia gets the win. He can't believe it. Unbelievable scenes here as Korpuliński bows out in our top 16. Kev, going to throw it back to you. We weren't too sure on that one. Was it Kevin Pesur's good chase run that got him in?
We weren't actually too sure on that, Dave. We were debating here whether it would be a one more time or not. Both lead runs, very, very close, very similar. Not perfect, but very nice on that qualifying line. So for us, it really all comes down to that chase run. And it was a wow factor from Kevin, to be fair. He was really glued to Korpuliński's door the whole way throughout. Great mimicking, great matching of angle, and great proximity the whole way. Korpuliński's chase just wasn't as clinical, unfortunately. He had a little bit of shallowing, a little bit of cutting to maintain the really good proximity that he had, and as I said, it was very close to one more time, but Kevin just did enough to take it.
Thanks, Kevin. From one Kevin to another Kevin. Nick is down with Kevin Pesur. He's through to the top 8. Nick, he must be over the moon.
Yeah, the celebrations down here, actually, when you got the result, you were jumping up and down, Kevin. You must be elated.
Yes. Because I thought that maybe he was close to me. I was hearing that revving next to my door, and I knew that I was close. So it's a close call, but this is good, I think.
Yeah, an awesome job. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Kevin, you know, he said, I think it's good, I think. So I think it is good, Kevin, because you're through to the top 8, but also it's not going to be easy from here either. There's a lot of big battles to come, and Kevin Pesur, his best results so far in Drift Masters, shows that in these new tracks when people are all sort of on even keel, anything can happen because there's no previous experience, and Kevin Pesur showing that when it comes to a fresh track, he can get it done.
I mean, yeah, I was just going to say that. This is kind of what happens when you throw in a brand new circuit into the mix. Something that no one's driven on before, something that no one really knows. Look, back on the line though.
Yeah, it's a big one here.
Something we do know.
This is something big now because we've got Diogo Correia has had a pretty disastrous first 2 rounds to the championship, but he's on form again now. He's up against Więcek, the 2-time reigning champ. Więcek is business all weekend now. He looks super fast. He looks very fluid. He's the car gripped up to absolutely 11. It's very tough to drive. Most of the drivers on the grid say they couldn't even drive Więcek's car. It's just gripped up and so tight, but Więcek has to push past that to give him that small advantage of speed. Will that count in this battle? Więcek, the current champ, trying to climb back to the top of the ladder. He'll need to get the job done here fast.
Well, he'll want a top 8 finish at least right now, but look at the pace of Więcek as he gets into outside zone 2. On the wall, no worries this time, no wobbles, but Correia is absolutely flying. He wants it, but now he gets lost through the centre circuit. He's going to have to make a dive, and he does. Sacrifices outside zone 5. Through the smoke goes Correia as he looks for the door, but he just can't get that much proximity.
So if you're new to the sport, we're going to explain what we mean by grip and speed and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, it's quite complicated here in drifting. So you would assume, because these cars are smoking so much tires, that they're just trying to make the back end of these cars super loose, right? But they are gripping them up on essentially drag racing compound tires on the back of the car, because what they want to do is overpower this grip. The grip gives them the forward momentum. But the problem is when you put so much grip in your car, like Peter Więcek, it means the car is on a knife edge of whether it will drift or not at all, because the car is obviously trying not to drift. So if you can imagine, Peter Więcek's car is set up like a drag car not to lose any traction, and he's driving past that point. It gives him the extra speed, but what it does do is make it difficult in the chase, because when he's behind a slower car, the car is constantly wanting, it doesn't have the momentum to keep those wheels spinning. So where Więcek always looks super solid in the lead, the chase is his hardest part, because his car can lunge forward and have twice the pace of the car he's against. We saw that in Sweden. It cost him the battle, but most of the time he is well able to drive past it. That's what makes him so sensational as a driver. And now he's up against Correia, who's a bit of an unknown entity in the lead position here. So Więcek's going to have to use all his experience here.
Well, there we go. Look at this. Correia almost throws it backwards. Looks rock steady though as he gets into outside zone 2. Up onto the wall he goes. And look at Więcek, absolutely glued to the door. They come through inside zone 3, up into the wall. And Correia is rock steady, but there's no shaking. The Polish 2-time champion now as they fire into outside zone 6, onto the door. Oh, Więcek shuts it down!
What has happened? You can see the hands on the head straight away from Więcek. The car shuts off with 20 feet to go to the finish line. This sport is just too harsh on these drivers.
You could not even write a script and sell it, Dave. This is...
He had it won. He had it completely won. There was no question. He had the battle won. It was all over, and something...
Dave, from our point of view, we're not judges, but anyone here would know that was done.
Yeah.
The proximity was world class. He was glued to Correia, but Correia gave him a beautiful lead line to chase. I mean, he took all the opportunity.
Yeah, I have no idea if something broke or something shut off. But we got to watch this again on the replay. Więcek
starts to lose a little bit of ground.
Yeah, and Correia's on big angle, but at this point, Więcek's lurching forward here to just finish the job, just finish off the run and win the battle. And then he goes back on power, nothing. Absolutely nothing from the car.
I think that's going to be a transmission failure.
Something has gone very wrong with Więcek's car, and Correia
pulls to the line to receive the result, and he looks back, and there is no Peter Więcek.
So there's something happening here. Correia, we're hearing word that Correia finished the run with no wheel on the car. Watch, this.
Oh, he hits the wall
now
after.
Watch this. Does he incomplete, Correia? Just add insult to injury. He hits the wall, but there's no...
Oh no, he's broken the rear suspension.
He's broken the rear suspension.
But he did it. Look, he still completed the run, even with a broken...
What's happening? So Więcek shuts down. I mean, look at this. You got to give it to Peter Więcek. There's just nothing he could have done there. It was totally the car, not him, and he had the job done as a driver. I'm sure the Finnish fans will give him a big round of applause for what is essentially not his fault, not his problem, and the car didn't even make it to the result. That's what the issue is here. Correia is finishing the run, looking at his wheel facing the wrong direction.
Oh, and he's just
said it there.
Yeah, after the last transition, the car blew no power.
We're going to make it official. I'm sure Nick's going to catch up with Peter Więcek and see what happened. But there it is, going through to the top 8 is Diogo Correia, and out goes Peter Więcek. Diogo Correia from Portugal is into the top 8. Well, all bets are off from here, because McKeever is out, Robin is out, Więcek's out, and we are not even halfway through our top 16. But to be fair to Więcek, He's losing ground in the championship, but not to McKeever. So Nick is down with Peter Więcek. Nick, what happened? He went into that last corner and the car just shut off. Terrible scenes for Peter Więcek.
Yeah, I guess the big question, Peter, is what went wrong? What happened?
Yeah, before the second to last transition, I felt that the car starts to lose power, and on the last transition, I just clutch kick, and there was nothing. So I don't know if boost line simply went off, and I don't know. We need to check the car, but I wasn't able to simply finish the run. Unfortunately, because I started to feel better and better on this track, but. It is this. I really enjoy the crowd in here. It's amazing. Guys, I cannot wait to come back next year. So thank you for that. You are the best in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, incredibly frustrating for your championship, though. What does this mean? Do you think you can bounce back come Riga?
We will fight for sure. We will fight. We will give our best in the next round, as we always do. But this is frustrating, especially for the guys, because they spent the whole night replacing the engine, the machine, and something went wrong simply. It's a shame.
Yeah, tough to take. Well, listen, thank you for speaking to us and good luck in the next round.
Well, you know what, that's why he is, we're proud to have him as our champion, because he takes it on the chin and he knows, I mean, he's going to be disappointed. He's going to be very disappointed with what's happened. But you know what? There's still time for Peter Więcek. With 3 rounds left to go, it's only halfway through the championship. He has to be inch perfect from here to be 3-time champion.
He has to be flawless.
He has to be flawless.
But he can be flawless, and we've seen him do it time and time again. But hey, let's not take anything away from Diogo Correia. Yes, he may have got that on a technical, win, but I'm going to tell you now, that little win for Correia might have just boosted his confidence a little bit more, because he's now the highest we've seen him finish so far in competition, and Correia will be sitting back there going, "Oh, I'm one battle away from almost a final." Yeah. So,
well, I think Peter Więcek, of course, is waving to all the Finnish fans, and even regardless of the results here this weekend, the real standout MVP is this audience here in Finland. That, to me, they are the most impressive part of this event. No matter what happens on the track, I don't think it's going to pale in comparison to the incredible atmosphere here. But we have got Peter Więcek out, and you can see Jack Shannon looking over at Lauri Heinonen, looking over at Juha Rintanen, going, what is going on? Now it's all on from here on out. So we go to our next battle. It is going to be Kevin Piskolty against Joakim Andersson, and at this stage, who knows what's going to happen, because if you're an expert, we're not an expert. I don't know if there's such a thing as an expert anymore, because this sport is that unpredictable. Kevin Piskolty, he's been grafting away in the last 2 rounds. He's been putting in top 8 finishes. He could end up going to the final and being the championship leader by the end of this. Who knows? Joakim Andersson could turn his whole season around here. Keep your eyes peeled. Here we go.
Here we go, through the gears. Down they come into initiation. Kevin Piskolty fires it in the Hungarian. Oh, Joakim Andersson goes wide, but he holds on to it. It was a big error. He had to bail out of that one. And now Joakim Andersson is going to have to play catch-up. But Kevin Piskolty is a man possessed this weekend. He's on an absolute flyer as Joakim Andersson sacrifices that qualifying line, looks for the door of Kevin Piskolty's E92 BMW. Piskolty high on the bank and across the line.
Piskolty hasn't put a foot wrong all weekend. Like, he's just chill.
Stop saying that.
No, I can. I'm confident. He's super chill.
He's so chilled.
Like, he's not doing anything very crazy. And also, Joakim Andersson came in and completely lost it between outer zone 1 and 2. Like, look, if you look inside the car, look at his steering. Watch. As he goes in here, he's like, oh, I'm going to hit him. And he has to back out. He does really well to hold
save it, yeah.
But he's lost a lot of ground. He's almost overcommitted. And I'm not sure if he expected Piskolty to be faster, but that is a decel zone. So it looked to me like Piskolty was doing what he was doing before, and Joakim Andersson went a little too hot. From there, he's kind of playing catch-up for the rest of the run. But that lead run from Piskolty, pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. And you know what? For me, it's consistent as well. He's been doing the same thing all weekend. Not really putting a foot wrong, just dialing himself into those zones. He wasn't deep on those outside zones. I think he knows, like most of us know, that at this level, these guys are fast. So if you can take a bit here and there by not going too deep in the zones and doing enough to impress the judges, you can take a few meters, a few feet away from that driver behind that could potentially be on the door. And look at this scenes, as you see, Joakim Andersson transitioning behind that E92 BMW of Kevin Piskolty, the Hungarian driver.
That is such a cool camera, that Phantom camera.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I think that might even make us look cool if we were walking in slow motion.
It would.
But no one would want to see it.
No.
We'll go back to the second run. Kevin Piskolty, Joakim Andersson, all to play for.
Yeah, it certainly is all to play for. Joakim Andersson knows he made a big error on his initiation in that chase, and he needs to put down a flawless lead line, but he's going to have the Hungarian driver breathing down his neck, and Piskolty over 1,000 horsepower underneath the bonnet of that BMW. Piskolty comes in with a backwards entry as well. What are these guys doing now? A massive And a massive mistake from Kevin Piskolty. Joakim Andersson needs to keep his cool, because this one could swing the other way right now as Joakim Andersson's deeper on 4 than Piskolty was. Piskolty, you can see, back in the groove, back on the qualifying line, as Andersson fires up the bank into that final outside zone across the line, and Piskolty's up with him.
It's my fault, isn't it?
Yeah, you keep doing it. See, I said he doesn't put a foot wrong.
I said Kevin Piskolty is not doing anything crazy.
Oh, he's so good.
Then he threw it backwards in the chase position, which there's no need for. He makes the exact same error as Joakim Andersson
did,
does. So I think he nearly lost this. Watch, he came in, the car 90 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, he was flirting with an over-rotation there.
Now, to be fair, both of the guys held it, so the run continued. That's crazy. How did he get out of that one? But then he had to cut across the track to get back into the groove. He does get back in the groove, and they go back at it again for the rest of the run. But it looked quite similar in terms of errors. So are we going to see the judges decide this one from that point on both runs? Because that's now the first quarter is kind of the same for both.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, this is going to come down to the lead line, I guess, and proximity in the chase. And to be honest, I've got to say that Joakim Andersson potentially had a nicer lead than Kevin Piskolty. That's kind of where I lie with it, and that's my opinion. And what you guys at home think. Kevin Piskolty, though, he had that proximity, Dave. He was, a lot closer.
Well, I think we're going to cancel. That's going to cancel it.
The first corner, really, the first two outside zones are kind of...
Because both guys sort of over-rotated in the chase position. And then after that, I would agree there was some good moves from Piskolty in terms of proximity, but then Andersson had a better lead run, in my opinion. I think he was a little bit wider at times, so I don't know which way this one's going to go, but it's for a spot in the Great 8, and it is going to be Kevin Piskolty getting the win. Kevin Piskolty gets the win and goes through. You can see what it means to him, and this is huge for Kevin Piskolty, not only in the championship, but today he looks like he could be the man to take it all. So Kevin Piskolty will go through to our Great 8. And unfortunately for Joakim Andersson, that will be the end of the weekend. He's had a good weekend, though. He was a little sketchy at the start of qualifying, and all of a sudden here he finds himself in the top 16. He's had a couple of top 16 exits. I still think there's more from Joakim Andersson in the rest of the season. And we've got Nick down with Kevin Piskolty. Now, Kevin Piskolty's always smiling, Nick, but he definitely got to be smiling a little bit bigger right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if that's the case, because that was a close run battle, but you did just enough to win it. How are you feeling after it?
That was amazing battle. Last 2 rounds, the first 2 rounds was a big struggle with the gripness, but now we are trying to focusing, get on the podium. So we will see what can we do for that, but thanks for all the supports and all the Finnish spectators. It was amazing. Sziasztok, srácok. Just a few Hungarian words.
Listen, you're through to the Great 8. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Kevin Piskolty is just, he's speaking Finnish, Hungarian, English. He doesn't know what's going on. And he's over the moon. And I know how much this means to Kevin Piskolty. Remember, this is the guy that turned up to watch Drift Masters a couple of years ago as a spectator and then said, I'm going to go win that. And then he literally just said the next day he committed to it, and here he is in the top 8 of Drift Masters a couple of years later. But we move on to a one more time battle, Ian, because we can't seem to decide this one between your pick, Eryk Goczał, and the pick of the best cars out there. I think we're a little bit biased because we just love four-door Toyotas, but still, we've got a Chaser JZX 100 left-hand drive, as you do. Finnish wildcard in Jarkko Jylhä. He goes up against Eryk Goczał, and they could not be separated on the first set of runs, so we go at it again.
Well, look, for me, Eryk Goczał, incredible young talent. Again, another driver yet to really step up to the mark. Again, incredible car, full carbon fiber BMW 1 Series. They're off the line, and Jarkko Jylhä now fires at that big Toyota Chaser in, and that initiation, that line into outside zone. Oh, and he finally got it wrong. Of all the runs he done, he messed it up on that one, and this could be the one that ends his weekend. Eryk Goczał into the zone. Lets him move down the circuit into outside zone 5. No mistakes this time from Goczał as he waits for the dive. A big dive on the foot brake, onto the door, up across the line, and Goczał's car is absolutely planted.
That was exactly, you were right, Ian, and I hate to say it, but he never made an error on that first corner, and that was a big one. Smashed into the wall.
He's been doing that move, this initiation, look, wide, early to that wall. He's been getting there super early, all day, all weekend. And it finally got him, it finally bit him, and I was wondering when it was going to come, and it came at a time when he never wanted it to come.
No, and Eryk Goczał had to back off on that first quarter and say, oh, I'm not sure, and then he messes up this zone as well. Jarkko in the lead, he's rattled, I think, from that first quarter. He's offline, he doesn't have the momentum, and he does tidy it up towards the end, but Goczał's just there to pounce the whole way through, saying, when you get it together, buddy, I'll be there. And now Goczał has a chance in the lead position of a clean lead run to win this. And we've got to see the chase run of a lifetime from Jarkko Jylhä to get back into this. If he can stick that chaser to the door of that BMW the whole way around the track, that's the only chance he has here to get back into this one and get the win.
Well, I mean, look, he's in a good position to do it. The chase position is the only way you can get this one done, but he's already jumping the start line. He knows he can't let Goczał get away, and then through the gears. And look at this, Eryk Goczał fires that BMW 1 Series all the way into the wall and tries to drive away from the Finnish wild card now, and they get through the centre of the circuit, and you can see Jarkko Jylhä shortcutting the track, trying to gain that proximity early transition, but Jarkko Jylhä still shortcutting the line. And look at this from Goczał. The transitions don't even make sense. He's throwing that BMW around.
That was an incredible second half of that run, and I've got to give it up to Jarkko because he was firing the transitions in there with no concept of whether or not he was going to hit the lead car. He gave it everything. He lost him from the start, as you mentioned, as they came through that first corner. He had to do a big old cut here to try and get back up onto the door, and the lead run from Eryk was perfect here. He was absolutely where the judges wanted him to be. And as they get through this section, you can see Jarkko's going, oh, I'm not really doing much here. I need to start getting a little bit more aggressive. And look at this, he starts to get more aggressive. This transition for me here, very risky at that kind of pace, and he gets through it. And the last one, I mean, he's absolutely firing this at kamikaze speed down on the inside of the track here. But look at Goczał out wide. Now watch this transition. Boom, through the smoke he goes, up onto the door. It's really nice at the end, but is it too little, too late for Jarkko?
Yeah, I think he panicked there. Oh, he even tagged him on the door on outside zone 7. Look at Eryk Goczał. He knows he didn't really make any mistakes. He knows he did a good lead and a very, very good chase. And
I think they're just happy they would be involved in that one. It was a lot of fun. These guys are having a lot of fun on track. It's terrifying. I don't know how they're being so relaxed about it.
I'm really
scared watching it. I don't know what it's like in the car, but I can guarantee you it's a little bit more terrifying. And Eryk Goczał, I think he's got the word from the radio here. I think they're going to say to him, look, he's made an error on the first run on the wall. Has it been enough? Will Eryk Goczał get the win? Or this is something we haven't noticed before. But the judges are about to drop their scores in. Is it the obvious decision? It is. Eryk Goczał gets the win from Poland and goes through to the top 8. And not as many cheers because he's beaten a Finnish driver in Finland, and they don't like that. They're not fans.
They're not fans.
They're good fans, but not fans of that. But Eryk Goczał gets the win and goes through. And to be fair, they've been cheering every driver here all the way through the weekend. It's fantastic. Just some louder than others.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Lauri Heinonen. And, you know, I'm not saying there's any favourites, but I'm just saying. So it is going to be Eryk Goczał going through to the top 8. That's the best result for him so far. And someone you've picked out from early doors here, Ian, to do some damage here at the moment. It looks like he's going to be tough to beat.
I think he is going to be tough to beat. He's got the pace in the car. We've witnessed that. We've witnessed the way he can just fire that car across the circuit with no regard to what else is going on in the world. And look, we're talking about championships, right? We're talking about how they're starting to fall apart a little bit and things are getting a little bit messed up. Well,
Lauri Heinonen is now, with Więcek out and McKeever out, he's in the perfect position to pounce, but he's got to go through an on-form Marko Zakouřil from the Czech Republic. If Lauri Heinonen can get the job done here, he is going to probably move very, very high up in the championship and not lead the championship. This is a massive battle, not just because Lauri Heinonen is in front of all his home fans, but because of what's on the line. To be the best in Europe, these are the moments you need to rise from, and Lauri Heinonen is in the lead position, the best place you can be as the higher qualifier. He qualified third. He'd love third or above on the podium, but he's got Zakouřil for company here.
He certainly has. And look at this. Phones are out, getting this one filmed. Heinonen fires in. Marko Zakouřil knows he can't let the Finnish driver get away, and this is incredible from both of these guys. Zakouřil slows it down, though. He knows he's on the wrong line. He's too tight as he almost makes contact with Heinonen's S13 through the middle of the circuit. Look at this from Lauri Heinonen. The lead line is phenomenal. Now puts a bit of distance between himself and Zakouřil. And Zakouřil looks for the door, but just can't squeeze in there.
That's textbook from Lauri Heinonen. That's absolutely spot on from him. And you know what, Marko Zakouřil not making too many errors either. He's stuck in the fight. He could have got caught a little bit on the first corner, but he didn't. He stayed in it, Ian. And what I love about it is he adapted to the run, but Lauri Heinonen was giving him everything to work with.
He certainly was. And look at this, Zakouřil. This for me, both just in the zone, on the wall, mirrored angle, and this is something that Kevin O'Connell was talking about, matching that angle on outside zone 2. But this is, for me, he got trapped a little bit there. He was too far on the inside, and he had to think about that transition.
He recovered, though.
He did recover very well, but the lead line from Lauri Heinonen gave him the opportunity to get back into that pocket, back onto the zone, but he didn't really take the opportunity here. Heinonen stood on the accelerator and said goodbye to him, and there was no way for Zakouřil to really squeeze up and tag the door or put the exclamation mark on the last half of that run.
No, and I think now it's in the hands of Lauri Heinonen. If he is to win this battle, he has to have a lot of yellow on the side of that BMW for the rest of this run. Now, Lauri said the car is not fighting him, it's working well. He's never felt as comfortable. He's got all these fans in this arena behind him, but this is the moment where you've got to not let that get to you and just concentrate on the job at hand and get this win. Zakouřil looks strong, he looks fast, and Heinenen's going to have to work for it here.
I don't know if he does look fast, Dave. That looked like a slow initiation. I think he's took this one a little tentative. Heinonen jumps up onto the side of that BMW 2 Series now. Through inside zone 3 they go. Down, up onto the wall. And Marco Zakouřil almost tags it, but Heinonen can't be shaken. Look at this, over the bump they go. Through the smoke comes Lauri Heinonen. He times it perfect. He's going to be glued to the door across the line.
Wow. And the place explodes as Lauri Heinonen pushes Zakouřil across the last corner of this event. And I'll tell you one thing, that was a sensational move at the end. It was a risky one, but it paid off.
He timed it. He timed it perfect. It couldn't have been any better time, because look, the way he done it was flawless. For me, the angle here on outside zone 2, he was shallow. He knew that Zakouřil had the pace, he had to keep up, he had to dial out a little bit of angle there. Or maybe he was just trying to get the nose in the door, the wheel on the door, to try and prove to the judges, but he didn't make the same mistake as Zakouřil. Look at this, both clean through the center of the circuit, no real mistakes. And the transitions from here on out from Lauri Heinonen were just unbelievable. He took a dive here and risked it all, but then this one, look at this, early through the smoke, and then used the bank to drive himself up into the door. A phenomenal stuff.
You got to give it to Zakouřil as well. Zakouřil really good in that lead position as well. Give it Heinonen plenty to work with, as Lauri Heinonen and Marco Zakouřil would await their decisions from the judges. And you can see who the Finnish fans want to win, but the judges are up here. They're boxed off. They don't care where they are, what's going on. They're going to call it right down the middle. And Lauri Heinonen and Marco Zakouřil will be assessed on both of their runs, and the winner announced very shortly. It's for a spot in the top 8 with big championship implications for Heinonen, for a chance at redemption for Marco Zakouřil and get back in the hunt this year. And you can see the Finnish fans absolutely ecstatic with not only the drivers that are representing them, but the amount of action we're seeing on the track. It's relentless this weekend.
It certainly is relentless this weekend. And look at this, they're all cheering. They know they want to win.
Well, we're going to get a result from both of our drivers here, and the judges are having a quick look at this one again. Yeah, it looks like it's dropping in. It looks like we have a decision, and it is a decision for the top 8 this particular event. And here we go. Will it be Heinonen? Will it be Zakouřil? Who's going through to the top 8? It's a split decision. It's a one more time. Wow. One more time. I think Zakouřil knew he was close to the exit, but he's back in the game. Heinonen and Zakouřil go one more time. Kev, got to talk to you about that one. Too close to call a winner.
Those are the kind of runs that we absolutely love seeing, Dave. Very few mistakes that here wrote down in my notes, because both drivers were so good in both the lead and the chase. Both pretty much nailing that qualifying line in the lead position, and both having fantastic proximity on the chase position as well. In my opinion, I think Lauri had just enough proximity, more than Zakouřil, to take the win, but I don't disagree with the other guys either, going for a one more time, and I can't wait to see that one more time so that these guys can push it another 110%.
Kevin, come on, there's no more.
There's
going to be a crash. They were right on the edge.
We're only at the grade 8, Kev. I don't know if we're going to survive
the grade 8. We're at the top 16
top 16 still, sorry.
It's the last top 16 battle. We're really back in here.
We're really back in.
So next up we've got, just a casual Jack Shanahan, Benediktas Čirba battle in the top 16, which never happens, usually later in the competition. Shanahan looking strong in his top 32 battle against Jakob Kroll, big crash there. And Čirba against Piskolty. Well, Čirba beat Piskolty quite, I would say, impressively. So this is going to be another big battle in the top 16. Only one top 8 spot up for grabs. Shanahan trying to reignite his championship hopes. Čirba doing exactly the same thing. Here we go.
Well, they're off the line. Shanahan now seeing everyone else fall. Could this be the chance to walk away with some points in the bag? Shanahan fires in. Benediktas Čirba takes that clever line, that smart one. Both on the wall. This is insane as both drivers get on the wall through outside zone 2. And look at this. Absolutely textbook through the centre of the circuit as Čirba fires through the smoke. Over the bump goes Shanahan. They fire into this final turn as Shanahan looks for that final outside zone, and Čirba's on the rear wheel.
That's impressive stuff. That was incredible from Jack Shanahan and Benediktas Čirba. The level of competition right now, I have never seen anything like this. Everybody wants it. They're putting cars on walls. The chase car was as deep as the lead car in the wall. There. Look at Čirba.
He runs the wall in the chase, Dave.
That's insane.
You're serious.
I tell you one thing. You look at standard of driver here. There is another level
World
being
class.
raised. Oh, it's
World class.
It's unbelievable. And Shanahan does exactly what he normally does. Goes to the edge of the circuit, tries to put a bit of flair into it. I like this last transition from Shanahan. Very late into the zone and up onto the bank, and no handbrake, just getting it done. But Čirba goes, I don't really care. I'm just going to absolutely smash the doors off your car up on the bank. This one's in the balance.
It certainly is in the balance. And you know what? They're both taking the option to go for a little cool-down lap of the circuit. As we said, sun's out, hardly any clouds in the sky now. Finland has really shown up this weekend for us at Drift Masters European Championship, and his brother now, Conor Shanahan, you can see, nervously awaits in the pit lane to see if they can get two Shanahans
into the top eight
and make this a dream weekend for these guys that have not really had a lot of luck this year, Dave. They've been, you know,
well, you can say
up and down.
You could say the same for Benediktas Čirba. He's looking to turn his fortunes around as well. He just doesn't care about the Shanahan's and what they want. He's like, I'm going to win this battle.
He wants a trophy.
He wants a trophy. That's why they're all here. So they're all good friends behind the scenes, but right now it's battle action on track, and it's mano a mano as Shanahan goes very early and soon. That was a risky one from Shanahan. They almost took the front end off his GT86, but look at the pace in Čirba's car, and he's on big angle here, Čirba. Shanahan now trying to catch up. That's a big snappy transition for Shanahan. He's right on the inside of the corner here, but Čirba's car's got a lot of pace as Čirba goes right to the edge of the circuit. Shanahan transitions late. He's got to get up onto the door. Čirba's on the oh, look at that. He pulls away from Shanahan through the last corner. So Shanahan has some crazy moves in that to get close, but I think Čirba had the faster machine there.
Yeah, I want to look back at the replay of this and break this one down. I'm not sure that Jack was really in this battle as much as what we thought. Look at this from initiation, incredible initiation, as you pointed out, Dave. Jumps straight up onto it, gets himself in there. But watch this, Čirba's in that outside zone, up onto the wall, and you can see Jack, he's kind of sacrificing a little bit of that line. He's almost on the front wheel of Čirba's BMW there. Then gets himself down, notices that inside zone, goes for the transition, boom, times it perfectly, comes across the circuit. But that kind of really upsets his line, because when he comes back here, he's out of these zones again, and he's allowing Čirba now on that wider line to drive away. In every single transition, Čirba's moving inches and feet further away.
I'm going to put my own 2 cents
Spin in there, yep.
I think Čirba's transition is earlier to the last wall, so he gets on the accelerator far quicker. And I think Shanahan is transitioning so late. That's just the style he's doing. But it's actually hurting him getting back on the throttle, because when he transitions so late, he's actually on the accelerator probably about a half second behind Čirba, making it the proximity look worse on that last bank. That's just how I feel. Maybe Shanahan's doing the track a little bit differently than Čirba there, and that kind of accentuates the distance between the two. But amazing runs from both of these guys. Like, this is a sensational battle. But who's going to take it to the top 8? And it's going to be one more time between Jack Shanahan and Benediktas Čirba. Both of these guys are like, okay, we got to push another little 10%, and no separating both drivers. And I'll tell you one thing from my perspective, this has been the closest set of battles we've had in Drift Masters in a very long time. Very little separating these guys. And I'm going to go quickly over to you, Kevin. I just want to know, you know, what's going to do? A lot of one more times. So what's going to do? What are you looking for here to just guarantee the win?
I know, Dave, one more times than we've probably ever had in a top 16, but as we always do, we're comparing lead to lead and chase to chase, and I think we could all agree here that Jack had the cleaner lead. Have gone with Čirba overall, but he, if you remember his chase run, he fell off a little bit between outer zone 5 and outer zone 6, and in our opinion that was enough then to just say, yeah, look, Jack did the better lead run, Čirba did a slightly better chase run. It's too close to call him. We have to see him go one more time. But to answer your question, Dave, what we're really looking for is those absolutely immaculate lead runs. We really want to see those lead drivers nailing that qualifying line the whole way throughout, not deviating from it or cutting the zones like we're seeing a lot. And then in that chase position, we're looking for clean proximity as well. We're looking for those chase drivers to also be on that qualifying line. Whereas at the moment, we're really seeing drivers make corrections, come up from it to jump on the door like we're seeing. We really want to just see nice, clean, clinical runs.
You could just lower your standards a little bit, no? If they could all just be absolutely perfect, superhuman and unbelievable across, and throw cars at walls and make no mistakes, and you know, just casual, easy as that. Easy as that. If you just wouldn't mind just being absolutely pinpoint perfect, absolutely everywhere, and not smash your car into a load of walls, that would be fantastic. Kevin O'Connell, I'd hate to be taking an order from him in a restaurant.
Can you imagine?
He'd be telling you the temperature of the food he wants. He'd be telling you
not too much gravy.
No,
just the right amount
I would
of
like
gravy.
16 milliliters of gravy, please, and if any more than that, and it's an absolute travesty. tasty, and we're going to go one more time with this food if it's not. I can imagine. I mean, he's tough man to please.
That's why we don't go drinking or eating with him.
There was a good shot of my brain there a minute ago on the screen. Yeah, just going around and around, trying to figure out what was going on with Kevin O'Connell over there. So we're going to go back to the start line. We've got Lauri Heinonen and Marko Zakouřil. A classic one more time from the judges on this one as well. So we're going to have to see them go even more perfect. Yeah. Is there more perfect? Well, we're about to find out. Lauri Heinonen will certainly be searching for it. Marko Zakouřil. I'll tell you what, Marko Zakouřil, to me, to take Lauri Heinonen to it one more time is a big statement, because he's had a tough start to the year, and we know how good he is. There's no question that Zakouřil is incredible. You know, I think, in my opinion, the best Czech driver there's ever been. Yeah. But he's up against an on-form Heinonen in front of his own home fans, and he's taking him one more time. If that's not putting some confidence in with the fuel into that car, he's going to start to believe here.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of these drivers this weekend, they're getting these one more times, they're getting these wins. It's giving them the belief, it's giving them the strength to say, I can do this. Because
he's also going to figure out Heinonen here, because he's done a chase run already, so he knows what style he's going with. They're going to get closer here. It's going to be more extreme, and here we go. Heinonen to lead in Zakouřil.
Yeah, and he's gone for a big initiation this time, Heinonen. He wants to put the pressure down straight away, but he can't get away from Zakouřil. Zakouřil in that zone, and both of them in outside zone 2. Heinonen with that clinical lead line as always as he fires through. Look at that. The line is absolutely dialed. To the wall he goes, but Zakouřil is on the back bumper. Oh, and he makes a mistake, Zakouřil. He goes through it too early for the transition. Now Heinonen opens the door, looks for that final outside zone across the line, but Zakouřil still with him.
That's an incredible lead and chase. If I was Kevin O'Connell right now, I'd be thinking, that's pretty good.
No, you wouldn't. No,
I wouldn't probably.
You'd be like, there's one too many P's on the plate.
Yeah.
There was a big mistake. There was a mistake from Zakouřil.
I'm just going to have a little look at it again.
You don't think it was a mistake?
I'm going to have a look at Heinenen's lead run here and just have a look at his transitioning point. But anyway, we'll decide that.
You're in the wrong part of the world to be criticising a Finnish driver, don't you?
Yeah, I'll never be able to leave the tower again. But what I'm going to do is have a look at this. As they come through here, this is unbelievable. Both drivers in the outer zone. Now, just having a look at Heinonen, he's kind of, on the outside of the track, but not as wide as some drivers have been. Zakouřil does make the mistake of going too early, but I could see it kind of balancing off between the two.
I think personally, Zakouřil took too much of a bite out of it. I think that's the problem. I think Zakouřil went for too much of a dive.
No,
being greedy.
I'm going to disagree.
Oh, split decision in the commentary booth.
I think that Heinonen misses outer zone 5. I think Heinonen misses that zone, which means Zakouřil would be pushed onto the inside of the track. Just put it out there, I'm being fair.
Okay.
I think it's in the balance. I think this one is a bit more in the balance, and it's going to come down to can Lauri Heinonen smash that 2 Series around the track without too much impact and then win this battle. He's got to go for it here. He can't hold back.
No, he can't hold back. And here we go. We're going to find out exactly if he can do that. He's got that straight line approach initiation. Look at Zakouřil back on the throttle nice and early, but look at Heinonen. He's closer than Zakouřil was, but Zakouřil not clean on that outside line so far. They go to the wall, and Lauri Heinonen pushing Zakouřil. No mistakes on the transition. Deep into 5 goes Zakouřil. He opens the door, and look at Heinonen, textbook manoeuvre once again, and this time jumps up higher on the wall than Zakouřil.
You gotta give it to both of these drivers. That is sensational stuff. At that speed, looking that comfortable, that close to the wall, that's amazing. Again, I think it's right down to the wire here. From what I'm looking back at it, Heinonen does a good job on the first corner, but Zakouřil's where he needs to be, on outer zone 2. No problems at all. Look at that 2 Series buried into the wall. Could be a little wider there. Heinonen was wider. As they transition back here, Heinonen does a good job at managing it, but Zakouřil is on the correct line, and this is where I'm thinking it's coming down. Zakouřil goes wide here, Heinonen wasn't that wide, and Heinonen follows him out, but has a late transition in the middle of the track, makes it work, and gets back up onto the door. I'm not too sure what's in this one either.
I'm going to say here now that Zakouřil was shallow on outside zone 7, but Heinonen fulfilled it in the chase position.
We have absolutely no idea, though,
what way
the judges are looking at it. I'm thinking...
I'll tell you something, Dave. All I know is this is goddamn good drifting.
This is very good. Just having a word to ourselves, this is very good drifting. Anyway, back to the program.
Right, here we go. Back to seriousness.
We have got Lauri Heinonen and Marko Zakouřil ready to get the decision from the judges. It's for a spot in the top 8. Big championship implications. And Marko Zakouřil, well, he couldn't have thrown any more at that one.
He's pacing around like a man with a lot of stress right now.
They do not know which way this one's gone. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think anyone in this arena knows which way this one's gone, but there are 3 people that do, and 3 people have to make that decision, and it's going to be Vernon, David, and Kevin, and they're having a good think about this one. I've watched a lot of replays I can see the judges over my shoulder. There was a lot of replaying going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no decision dropped in, and there's a lot of talking going on. So I wonder if this one...
A lot of discussions. They're having a look again at Lauri Heinenen's lead run. and they're having a little look around at it just to see. And I told you, I just said that was a bit of a moment where I think Lauri and Marco made a mistake. Marco went too shallow. I think Lauri missed an outer zone. That was just how I saw it. I am not important enough to make any decision.
But this is what they're looking at. This is what they're looking at right now. So this is the part of the circuit that they're kind of judging.
And it is Lauri Heinen's lead run. I'll just see if we pull that back a little bit. I'm not sure if we can. Just to see Lauri Heinonen on that outer zone and just how that went. It's going to be tough to know. So this is the chase run, as you can see. Marco Zakouřil. This is a great lead and chase in general from both of these guys. It was phenomenal.
This could be a final.
To be honest, I'd have been happy with this as the final. It was just unbelievable. And it's a top 16
battle. Top 16 battle.
A top 16 battle. You know, somebody called the cops. These boys are stealing the show. That's the problem.
Like it, Dave.
That's the problem. So we're looking back on this run. It looks to me like that run is pretty sensational lead and chase. That's kind of how I saw it. I'm not sure how the judges saw that, but first run, Zakouřil dives on the inside. Heinonen not really as wide as he should be. That's what I think is going to be a little bit of to and fro. I've no idea which is the bigger mistake, but it was that little mistake from both. Second run to me was like, if you wanted to show people drifting for the first time and you said, these are the good guys, you'd have showed them that run. You'd have said, that's a good example of what brilliant drifting is. Well, the fans are cheering for Lauri Heinonen. He's definitely got the hometown support. Marco Zakouřil, I think he's announced himself back on the championship here as a super contender for any podium from this point on. We knew how good he was. We always know how good he is. But he's just had a little dip in form of late, and now he's back to business, and that 2 series that seems to be working really, really well for him. But we've got a long wait here, a lot of chatter.
Yeah, a lot of
between the judges. We don't know when this result is going to pod. I think we've finished our replays, which means we must have a decision coming through at this point. And it's been a long wait. They're definitely having a good conversation on this one. And Lauri and Marco having a conversation. Here we go. Results are in. Who is going to go through to the next stage of competition? It's a split decision, and it's Lauri Heinonen getting the win on a split decision. Oh, I can't take the drama of this championship anymore. Oh, my goodness. Lauri Heinonen gets the win, goes through to the top 8. But Kevin, you guys having an awful time agreeing today, and I can be honest with you and say that was such a good set of runs that I would agree it was a tough one to call.
Dave, that was probably one of the closest and toughest calls that we've ever had to make here. We were pulling our hair out trying to come up with a decision, and to be honest with you, we would have gone one more time. It definitely, if we could have, but in our rule book we can only have one. So look, it really comes down to splitting hairs here. Both of them had great lead lines, but Lauri missed out, whereas Marco missed inner clip 3 and outer zone 4, so that was 2. In the chase runs, Lauri had slightly less angle in his chase, and Marco missing outer zone 1 and the edge of outer zone 5 as well in his chase. So we really were splitting hairs, but overall we just thought Lauri was a little bit cleaner.
There you have it. We're into our next battle. It's another one more time between Jack Shanahan and Benediktas. Čirba. Jack Shanahan in the lead position. Čirba trying to chase up. These guys couldn't decide it on the first run. Now they go at it again. Shanahan on that perfect line. He's a little shallow on that inner zone there as Jack Shanahan fires through. Čirba's got a lot of pace in that BMW, but he falls off a little bit towards the end. Has to make a snappy transition, but he gets it together. And both of these guys come across the line. Still no separating these guys in the top 16.
I think there was a mistake there from Čirba in the chase on outside zone 2. I think he tagged the wall, and I think that's why we see a little bit of separation. I think he went in a little bit hotter than what Jack did. Let's take a look back at the replay, though, from the drone shot. You can see it fire in. You can see Čirba, look, positions himself perfectly, dials on the angle. And it looked like he got himself into the wall. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just did wobble and waver. Maybe he thought he was going to the wall, and that's why he checked up a little bit there. Nice transition, though. Čirba literally was throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this one, Dave, because he had to really risk himself and the car to keep himself in this battle. Shanahan was on a flyer.
I'm inclined to agree. I think Čirba, this is the problem with when you put your all into a battle and you don't win, you get it one more time. You kind of have to go to an uncomfortable level. Yeah. And we saw it with Rovin Pera right from the off in the 32. He couldn't beat Shanahan with a brilliant run. He went over and above. And sometimes over and above can mean you knock yourself out. Čirba maybe taking a slight disadvantage. He's left it for Shanahan here. Can Shanahan twist the knife in?
Oh, and the engine's just failed on Čirba's car.
Something went absolutely bang. We have a massive amount of oil on the track off the start line. Looks like Čirba's engine completely exploded as he came off the start line. I'm not sure what happened.
No, 100%, Dave. I can just about see the oil on the track, as you can see it there. As soon as he launched that car, the engine exploded in a big way.
Yeah, they're just bringing the fire extinguishers down just as a precaution, because obviously a lot of oil heading towards very hot surfaces like your exhaust and your manifold. Looks like it's not the case, but you could just see as it came off the line, the bonnet on the car.
Look at that.
I think that's a massive failure, and it just, you can see, I thought it was a false start initially, but then I realized there was no brake lights on in Čirba's car.
The bonnet and then out of the back of the car, and it wasn't from like the exhaust, it was from underneath the car that was just smoke, instant.
Yeah. Oh, that is heartbreaking for Benediktas Čirba there. Shanahan, I think, in this particular...
I think Shanahan took a sigh of relief there, because he was pointing to Čirba to say, this could have been his.
Oh,
this
look,
could have been.
Čirba's explaining, you can see something exploded out the back of the car.
I can smell it now, Dave, and I tell you, I know that smell very well.
That is engine internals, right? That's not a cheap fix, and that's Benediktas Čirba. You can smile. What can you do? If you don't smile, you'll cry, because it's an engine failure off the line. And Jack Shanahan said as they went off the line, it looked very dramatic straight away. And watch this from Čirba's car. Watch the back. Just boom. There is pieces of the engine flying out the back of the car. You'll see it even here on the drone as he comes off. Look at that, it's complete engine failure as he goes down the straight, and catastrophic engine failure, I think, as well.
I don't know now. I can smell it even more. It's this smell has now entered the air conditioning system of the commentary tower. It does smell like now diff oil or gearbox oil, Dave. So I wonder if that's transmission or differential failure.
Okay, that would be a cheaper fix.
Yeah,
a better fix. It's not going to be enough to get him back into the fight, because it's an unforced error, which means that car has failed, and we've got a big cleanup now with all the oil. That car has just put all the oil on the run up to the first corner, which of course, when you're on a really difficult track with it's a very scary entry, what you want is a little bit of oil on the track just to make it even more crazy.
On the lead line.
And I think we're going to have to make this one official, as I think Jack Shanahan, I would assume, is going to get the win here, because he did come off the line there, Benediktas Čirba, which is going to be an official decision. I think Jack Shanahan will go through to the top 8, and it was a tough fight. I mean, we did have that crazy battle, but in the one more time, it looks like Benediktas Čirba either have an engine differential, something failed in the car anyway, and it was a lot of smoke from the back of the car, and unfortunately for Benediktas Čirba, that will be the end of his weekend, as Shanahan joins his brother Conor in the top 8. 2 Shanahans in the top 8. Hasn't happened too much this year. No. Both of them on form. And at the moment, we have the wildest top 8 I think I've ever seen. We've had some of the craziest battles we've ever seen. You can see Conor Shanahan waiting for his top 8 battle, and as every 19-year-old will do, he will be on his phone anytime. He's just going to be sitting on his phone, going, "Oh, I've got a little bit of social media to do now. I might just get out of the way before this battle."
Yeah, just quickly doing a quick TikTok or one of those, whatever it is now.
So let's have a look at where we sit as we see Benediktas Čirba recovered from the track. We have got 8 drivers remaining, and here they are. Conor Shanahan will go head-to-head with Juha Rintanen. Kevin Pesur will go head-to-head with Eryk Goczał. Kevin Piskolty will go up against Diogo Correia, and Lauri Heinonen against Jack Shanahan. So if Conor Shanahan and Jack Shanahan win, they'll have knocked out the 2 Finnish drivers, and they'll never be allowed back in Finland again. So we've got Shanahans versus Finland pretty much in the top 8. And then we have got some incredible battles, which I thought I'd never see. Kevin Pesur against Eryk Goczał, and Diogo Correia against Kevin Piskolty. Amazing stuff. So we're going to have somebody, I think, unusual on the podium that may never have been on a podium before, and we may have a very predictable podium if, let's say, I don't know, the big one for me here for the championship has to be Rintanen against Shanahan.
But there's 2 for me, realistically, and I'm just sitting here thinking, Dave, which is dangerous, I know, and you can all say it. If Conor takes out Juha and Jack takes out Lauri, do the Shanahan brothers leapfrog everybody in the championship and become 1 and 2? Think about that for a moment.
Oh, steam just came out of my ears, a bit like the back of Benediktas Čirba's car. My brain is blowing up, because I'll tell you one thing, that's my brain right there on your screen, spinning around, trying to figure things out. There is a lot of oil on the track. It's going to take a little while to clean this one up, and right now, Nick Bright is down with Lauri. Lauri is in the fight for the championship, and his fellow Finn has to go up. So it's Shanahans versus Finland in the top 8. They must be looking forward to this one, Nick.
Yeah, the commentary guys are talking about the fact that you and Rintanen are taking on the Shanahans. You've got Jack in the top 8. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm against Jack Shanahan. He's one of my idols, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible event so far. You know, I mean, the action on the track both yesterday and today has been pretty incredible, and you've been soaking it up out there with the Finnish fans as well.
Yeah, it was like the drivers' introductions were crazy. I had goosebumps all the time. Thank you, fans.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans hoping that you're going to be able to get the victory here. It'll mean something great for you in the championship as well, because Peter Więcek is out, our championship leader is out as well. So, you know, you could collect a lot of points here.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll try to do, but I think Jack has something to say to it.
Well, listen, I know you were tinkering with something on the car, so I'll let you get back to it, but well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. And yeah, Lauri Heinonen feeling confident and looking to take on one of his good friends, or an idol, he said, looking to take on an idol. Those guys are having a high time. I'm going to be joined in the commentary tower by head judge Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, what is going on?
You tell me, because my God, I have never seen anything in all my days of judging like this. The amount of close battles that we've had, the amount of fantastic lead runs that we've had, the incredible chasing. Like, I knew it was going to be a hard event to judge when we came into it here, but I didn't foresee anything like this. It's just insane.
It's insane. And me and Dave spoke yesterday that we hadn't had a qualifying session like this before, where it was like 5 hours and 15 minutes of all of us in the tower working away. And you know, you take those away, there'll be memorable moments for years to come. And that kind of last night, I laid in bed and I was like, God, you know, if today was anything to go by, what's tomorrow going to be like if it's dry? And it is dry, and it is delivering. And this track, we mentioned it earlier, you throw a new track into these championships, and it really ignites something in some of these drivers that sometimes on the circuits we use a lot, or some of the faster circuits, they can't really adapt to. But now we're seeing a lot of names come through that are just, I mean, it's their time to shine, Kev.
Absolutely, Ian, and you said it there as well. A lot of the circuits that we use in the Drift Masters arena, I suppose, are very, very fast, and they can be quite difficult to chase on. Whereas when you throw something really nice and technical into this, and especially the line that we've designed around this circuit, it really encourages close battles the whole way throughout. Like, we are seeing door on door the whole time, and it's just fantastic to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And you know what? To visit Finland, we was told before we came here that the fans were going to be ecstatic. The place was going to be picturesque and mind-blowing, and it certainly is. And you know what? What a way to kick off our start here in Finland, the first ever time we come, because this is going to go down in history as an event that none of us will ever forget, because we've had it all so far this weekend. We're talking about those battles, Kev. There's been a few places that we spoke about, you know, behind the scenes when I was getting some notes, you know, getting my memory ready and my brain ready for this. These zones, you know, this transition, the initiation, where are the guys really, really messing up now? Now we're getting to like the thick end of the business.
Well, I guess, Ian, I suppose to start it off first, the lead line. We always keep harping on about it. You can't have a good chase without a good lead. And I suppose the first transition is the first place that we're seeing the lead line mess up. We've harped on about it in every single briefing. You have to be on the correct line on that first transition, making sure that you're not going over those lines that we painted on the track, because if you do, you essentially give yourself a benefit by slingshotting over to the outside zone 4 and leave your competitor for absolute dust. So we're really nailing lead drivers there, and we're also nailing lead drivers coming down towards outer zone 5 as well for our second transition. So we're really going to have to watch that going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we've spoke about it. It's been phenomenal. Kev, you've got to go back and do your notes and get ready for the rest of the weekend. We thank you for jumping in the hot seat for a hot minute. And we're going to focus now on Dave's favourite part of the weekend, which is using extreme equipment to clean the circuit. Now, it looks like those guys have almost got the track cleared up, and you can see the sweeper down there on the start line. The track staff here have been absolutely phenomenal. They've been doing outstanding work all weekend. They were in pouring rain yesterday, and now they're here. And let's take a look at the championship standings, though, Dave, because we spoke about it a minute ago, and I said, I wonder if this could all be leapfrogged. Let's just take a quick minute. Look, right, Więcek's out, Heinonen's in, Rintanen's in, McKeever's out. The two Shanahan brothers, they're not that far away from taking some steps here.
I think if you take that championship, that's just remind everyone, that's not where we are right now.
No. This is beginning of the weekend.
Beginning of the weekend. I think at the end of the weekend, we'll see that at the end of the show. I think that's just going to be scrambled all up. I think it's just going to be, take all those names, just
put them in a hat and just throw it around a little bit.
Like you let a 4-year-old child just take all those names and scramble them all up.
Look at this. Look, very clever from Conor Shanahan. He's out of the car. We see him in the car on the onboard, taking some water on board, just having a look around. Now he's coming out to see the situation which he's going to have to face in the first battle of our
got a little bit of news for you too, Ian.
Oh, okay.
It's transmission failure on Čirba's car. So the gearbox, as he went through the gears up to the first corner, just absolutely exploded. Just said, see you later. I've had enough of this. And then and again, we joke, but we're actually thankful because of all the things on a car, the engine is the most expensive, and it looks like that held together. But Shanahan's out now inspecting the track because he's thinking, I got to go out here, I've got to battle Juha Rintanen, the winner of round 2. And in order to get high up in the championship, if the Shanahans take out the 2 Finnish drivers, that means they're going to probably right in the mix. And I think we're going to head into the 4th round, the second half of the season, when everybody on the same points almost, if it all worked out. But I think at the moment, Lauri Heinonen and Juha Rintanen are thinking, okay, Więcek's a shark in the water, the Shanahans. If we can take out the Shanahans here, then, I mean, no disrespect to any of the drivers, to Eryk Goczał, to Kevin Pesur, to Diogo Correia, or any of those guys, but they're not in the right at the top of the championship hunt at the moment. They are obviously going to be in the mix here and could get top 3 steps on the podium. There's no doubt denying that, the way things are going. But for the championship, which is a long game here, you've got to be thinking the Shanahans and Rintanen and Heinonen are all in the mix in the top 8, with McKeever out, with Więcek out. This is going to be big. Yeah,
it is going to be big. It's going to be big. And look, I mean, I would make a prediction, but the way this weekend is going, I think you can, like you say, rip the paperwork up and throw it away because nothing really makes sense anymore. And we've seen it all. Here we go, Dave. It looks like the track's clear and things are almost ready to kick off.
Absolutely. We started with 57. We brought him down to 16. And now the business of the championship is underway. Let's head to the top 8. So the pressure building here in Finland. We are at the Mika circuit, the go-kart circuit, which has been transformed into an arena this weekend in Finland. Absolutely sold out, standing room only. And I'll tell you what, the emotions of the drivers are very much like the emotions of the people going up and down on that roller coaster. As you can see, we are in the middle of a theme park, which seems normal, it shouldn't be, but we are having a roller coaster of emotions throughout the grandstands, on the track and here in the tower, because we have no idea which way this event is going to finish up. Pardon the pun, intentional. And I'll tell you what, Conor Shanahan, who's looking strong, number 1 qualifier, will go up against the man that won round 2, Juha Rintanen. Both of these guys are ready to go, have great pace in the car, and I'll tell you what, a lot of confidence going. I think once Conor Shanahan got past Kalle Rovanperä, I was talking to his mum earlier on in the break, and she said he didn't sleep a wink last night. He was imagining the headlines of Kalle Rovanperä, rally champion, beats superstar drifter Conor Shanahan. He'd almost psyched himself out of the battle, and he said once that car ramped up his on the first corner, he slotted into gear for the rest of the event and said, okay, now it's on, and he's feeling more confident. He's done a walk of the track to see how things are. And then Juha Rintanen, well, I'll tell you what, you can set that man on fire and he'd still be cool as ice because he doesn't seem to be under pressure whatsoever when it comes to battles. He's been in the game so long, he's been in these positions so long, that he is going to be one tough competitor. And I'm going to think Conor Shanahan is also going to think, have I got the pace for that GR86, because it looks super fast.
Yeah, I was just going to say, off the back of that, Juha Rintanen has got that experience. He's been in these situations, he's been around for a long time. Look at him tapping the steering wheel. He knows what he needs to do. If he can take down Shanahan right now, he's one step closer to leading this championship. And look, he'll be the first Finn to be in the Final Four, and he'll be tasting that champagne, Dave, almost on that start line. Well, they pull up to the start line and we get the heavy equipment off the circuit. We get the all clear from our track marshals.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, if you put Juha Rintanen now into the top 4, it's hard to see anyone stopping him from there on out, because he's going to be right up there in the championship and he's going to be one of the biggest contenders for it from this point on. This is a huge battle for the championship. If you're a European drift fan, you know what this means. This is the big game. All the marbles, Shanahan versus Rintanen. Here we go.
Yeah, look at this. Shanahan fires the car from left to right, but Rintanen dials him in, almost hits him on initiation, has to back out of it. Shanahan gets into the outside zone, clinical, and lead already from Shanahan as he fires through, and now Rintanen dials in the grip, dials on the angle, looks down the circuit as he goes for it, but he makes a big mistake there on outside zone 5 as Shanahan looks to get for that final outside zone. Up on the wall they go, across the line.
Great stuff from 2 steely competitors. Some moments though throughout the run, it looked like Rintanen was going to make contact on the first corner, but he didn't. He held it together. Again, that experience of being in those tight situations, he was able to get himself out of trouble. But look, he fires in very close to Shanahan, has to slam on the brakes, gets back in it again, but he loses a little bit of ground. Look how close this was. Oh, it's a little contact. Yeah. So Shanahan doing a good job of holding on to that one. He's been hit a couple of times today on that initiation. Not so heavy like it was with Rovanperä, and Shanahan still absolutely nails the outside zone.
Yeah, that's a very nice lead line from Conor Shanahan. Look how close he is to the wall there on outside zone 4. But for me, though, look at this. Watch this from Juha Rintanen. He makes it, you can't see it there on that shot. He made a mistake there, and as he come into the wall section again, not as close, just can't seem to be on the door, and then almost hits Conor Shanahan across the line.
Well, look, I'm going to say there's a tale of two halves of this battle, because right now it looks like Juha making some errors, but I'm guaranteeing you that on this battle, Conor Shanahan is going to struggle to stay with that GR86. So is he going to start cutting the track and bring it back into the hands of Rintanen? Hold on to your hats, here we go.
Well, we're going to find out. We won't need long to find out. The light goes green. Here they go through the start line. Juha Rintanen through the gears, flicks the car across the circuit. Shanahan knows he can't let Rintanen get away. He's the fastest man around Sweden, but he is the fastest man around Finland, and it doesn't look that way. As Shanahan applies the pressure, gives him the room to transition now. Shanahan pops the wheel over the curve, tries to shortcut outside zone 4, waits for the dive. Oh, tags Rintanen as they come through outside zone 5. Shanahan applying the pressure this time, and Rintanen can't get to the outside zone.
Oh, I don't know if I have the emotional stability for the rest of this. This is incredible. We are watching drivers go up a level we've never seen in this championship. From the off, Shanahan knows he's got to be absolutely on it. And the thing is, he can't hesitate.
No.
The minute he hesitates, Rintanen's gone. So he stays with him through the first corner. Up to this point, I'm going to say I agree. Shanahan's on it. This is perfect. Lead run's really good from Rintanen. He pulls a little bit of a gap here. Shanahan has to jump across the curb to stay in the fight. Now, this is where it gets a little unstuck as they come through this section. Rintanen goes to the edge of the circuit. Shanahan makes a big dive, has to brake a little bit here and back off Rintanen. Now, just watch Rintanen in the lead position as he transitions back for this. Does he make an error here? As it transitions back, he gets a little bit unstuck and he has a little wobble just getting up to that outer zone, allowing Shanahan back into it. It's not enough, but when you're down to the wire like this, these little errors can count. So Shanahan has a little error when he chases in on outer zone 5, and then Rintanen has a little wobble into outer zone 6. Again, the judges are going to be like, give us a break, guys. This is incredible. We can't decide.
I think they're going to put this, if you put this lead to lead, chase to chase, you're going to see that Rintanen made a few more errors in his lead compared to Shanahan, and Shanahan's chase was closer with less mistakes. I think this one comes down to the very fine details, Dave. And look, and it is going to come down to the fine details. The judges are looking back at this one. This one not going to be clear cut, and you can see that separation.
I'll agree with you. Shanahan's lead run was the prettier run.
The prettier run, yeah.
And then Rintanen had a little bit of pace on Shanahan, but Shanahan has a bit more proximity across more of the runs, so I can see which way you're swaying there. Yeah.
The contact and initiation
You know what,
well.
I even forgot about that. Rintanen hitting Shanahan on the way in as well, so, you know, there's a lot to decipher on this one. Conor Shanahan and Juha Rintanen, not sure which way this one's going to go, but to me, I think if you look at it, there is errors on both sides, but they're going to start looking at the bigger errors. There was a couple of wobbles from both sides. Look there, Rintanen there, kind of laid on the throttle in that last section for me and just kind of let the car wash a little bit, but you know what, it's so close, and regardless of who wins or loses these battles, and everyone's on about winning and losing and judging and everything, just imagine how good this drifting is getting every single event this year. It's better and better and closer and more unpredictable, and it's anyone's game, and that's why we love this sport. It's about the sport, not just the result, but the result is all that matters to Rintanen and Shanahan. Who's going through to the final 4? It's a one more time and a split decision, and it's going to be a one more time. Oh, I don't know. Can we take much more? My voice, I'm not sure, can take much more.
I don't even.
Kevin, I seem to be talking to you more this weekend than I ever have. It's so difficult to separate these guys. And we were trying to decipher what way you were going to go, and it was that close that it ended up a one more time.
It was incredibly difficult again, Dave. You saw my vote was to go with Conor. I just thought he was a little bit cleaner over the 2 runs, but you had definitely putting up an extremely close battle as well. In my opinion, the other 2 judges, they went with it one more time because Conor slowed a little bit too much on the initiation, which actually caused the contact between you and Conor there. So that was enough then for them to warrant it one more time overall. I didn't think, because it was in a diesel zone, that it was effective enough, so that's why I went with Conor. But we are really cutting margins here.
I would not like to be a judge this weekend, and I do feel, I mean, the guys are obviously under extreme scrutiny all the time, from the drivers, the fans, everybody trying to make the right call. And we move on to an incredible battle that we're seeing lining up in the Grade 8, which we'll see Eryk Goczał, who's on fire this weekend, going up against, let's hope.
Let's hope not.
Eryk Goczał going up against Kevin Pesur. These 2 guys are almost like, you know, 2 bulls that have been running through a field all day, scattering all the other cows, and now they're going to go head to head because these guys haven't been stopped because they've been that good.
And they have been that good. They've been they've been very, very good, and now it's time to find out who is the better off the both of them. They're through the gears, and look at this as Eryk Goczał looks over at Kevin Pesur as he fires in. It was a late transition and a very early initiation from Eryk Goczał. As Goczał now looks for the side of that BMW, they look through down the centre of the circuit. Kevin Pesur now gets himself into that groove. They fire down into outside zone 5, and look at Eryk Goczał as he goes for the dive, but gives him the room to manoeuvre. Now plants that BMW 1 Series on the side of the 2 Series.
Wow. You know what? It's all going to come down to the ininitiation here.
Yeah, and it kind of caught me a little bit off guard there, Dave.
You were trying to describe it, but this track happens so fast, it's tough for us to even catch our words. Oh, okay. Now we get a moment. So it looked to me like Goczał went too early to... Look, he went too early to the right-hand side of the track.
I think it was Pesur.
Does he go too wide?
Yeah, he kind of misses outside zone 1.
It looked to me like Goczał went early too, and then he got a little bit stung on the inside of the track. So I'm not sure what way the judges are going to see that. But that initiation, I think, is what that whole run is going to come down to.
100%.
Because after that, it's a great lead run and a great chase run.
I don't know. He misses outside zone 4 there, Kevin Pesur. So I think he kind of put himself on the wrong line.
Look how fast these guys are going through the centre section. They've made a very small go-kart track look very big for the amount of speed.
Look huge and fast.
Yeah, so that I have no idea. So if you're at home, you know, you can play judging roulette because nobody knows what way is. And again, it could all turn around in an instant here on the initiation of this second run. So we've got Kevin Pesur. Helmet, visor goes down, business time, and we're ready to go. Goczał will be in the lead, it will be Pesur in the chase. Pesur timing it right this time. Goczał with that beautiful entry. Look at that, on the left foot brake, absolutely perfect to the wall from Eryk Goczał, and Kevin Pesur allowed into the game here. Has a little bit of separation there as Goczał does drop a wheel on the inside of the chicane. Goczał now with a lot more pace in the car, and he's absolutely flying here. Kevin Pesur desperately trying to catch up, and he's trying to get up onto the door, which he manages to do across the finish line. But Goczał is so fast through that centre section. Well, Ian, what are we going to do with these guys? We cannot find any way of separating them. They're just incredible.
I mean, I tell you what, for me, Eryk Goczał is so fast. Look, he initiates way early, gets on the throttle before anyone else. He's in outside zone 2, or set up for outside zone 2 super, super early. And Kevin Pesur, yeah, he does do a good job there, tries to get on the door, you know, noses the front end of that 2 Series, up onto the 1 Series BMW. But Eryk Goczał, through the centre section, look, from this inside zone, perfect line, look at that. Okay, it could have been a couple of foot, but we're splitting hairs here, Dave. I think the lead from Goczał is much nicer and neater from Eryk Goczał, but there's just no proximity.
But we're also going to have to go back to the start of the first run and say, did Eryk Goczał
impede?
No, what I'm saying is, did he mistime his initiation, which was a big mistake, or was it Kevin Pesur that caused that? I have a feeling it's going to come down to that.
Yeah.
And the decision is going to let us know, because that first corner, someone's got to be at fault there for that kind of messy start to the first run. And it looked to me like Kevin Pesur was a little bit too wide on initiation. It looks to me like Goczał's like,
I need to sit down.
I just need to sit down. There's a lot going on here.
Pesur's like, you've just been sitting down for 5 minutes.
Well, I was doing a lot of work, all right? So here we go. It's a decision in. It's for a spot in the final 4. And it's Eryk Goczał getting the win. Eryk Goczał gets the win and goes through to the final 4. He needed to double check. He couldn't believe it himself. He goes through to the final 4. Look at what it means to the youngster. He's had his first big moment in Drift Masters here in Finland. He's bowing to the people mowing the lawn, everything. He's losing his mind. And Kevin Pesur, well, he's dejected. He says, oh, I'm not sure what happened. Kevin, just a quick one on the initiation of the first run. We were having a little bit of a discussion on it. What way did you guys see it?
Yeah, we actually saw it as Eryk's fault, but what he was able to do was he was able to rein it back in afterwards and actually kind of salvage the run. And came away with still a disadvantage from the mistake, but it was the second run that was able to massively overturn it. Fantastic lead line by Eryk, really, really good on that qualifying line. And unfortunately, Kevin just didn't bring the battle at all to him, so Eryk came away with enough of an advantage from the second run to be able to overturn his mistake from the first run. Really good driving.
There you have it. He's through to the top 4. We move it along to Kevin Piskolty against Diogo Correia. This is a big redemption battle. Neither of these drivers have ever seen top 4 in Drift Masters, and they've been plugging away. They've been getting close for a very long time. But one of them will get 2 shots at the podium, and the other will go home. Correia from Portugal, Piskolty from Hungary. It's just a real European battle right here from all corners of the continent. Correia's crazy. Piskolty's crazy.
I was just going to say
I
that.
think the fans are crazy. Everybody's going crazy. This is going to be one for the ages.
This one's going to be one that we never thought we'd see, especially in the Great 8, ready for a Final Four. Through the gears they go. Piskolty fires in that BMW 92, and look at Diogo Correia, though. He's planted onto the side already. It lets him escape a little bit, but Piskolty not as deep into outside zone 2 as what he'd like to have been. Now through they go, down to outside zone 4, and Correia losing a little bit of ground. He's going to have to shortcut outside zone 5 to make that ground back up again. As Piskolty looks for that final outside zone, Correia not on the door, goes for a dive and makes it almost there.
You know what? It's not going to get any easier for our judging panel because these guys are on it. They absolutely have this track figured out. They've figured out the setup at this stage of the game. It's like it says on the back of Correia's car, go hard or go home, and everybody's going hard, and nobody wants to go home.
No, nobody wants to go home. I'm just trying to digress and break down Kevin Piskolty's run. Yeah, not as deep. I think he's gripped that car up, Dave. I think he's got to the point in competition now where he knows he has to be fast. He has to be faster than what he was earlier on today. It's a very nice lead line from Kevin Piskolty. A little shallow maybe on some of those outside zones, but Diogo Correia couldn't really get himself into the mix, and he's kind of lost in a smoke cloud most of the battle. And right at the end, tries to stamp some authority on it, just can't get there though.
Not perfect from either driver, but very good all the same.
Oh, yeah.
We would have been begging for battles like this at other rounds because this would have been a final.
Yeah.
But now the standard set so high, the judges' standard set so high. It's on to Correia now in the lead position. It's going to be Piskolty in the chase position. Look at Piskolty, very early initiation. Now he's going to wrist it, and he's made it work. That was very, very close, but he's on the inside of the track. Correia goes right out to the edge of the circuit, exactly what the judges want. Great line from Correia, way outside those two inner markers. Correia's on a flyer here, and Piskolty's got to make something work here as Correia jumps through outer zone 5 and slams the car up towards that last outer circle. And look at Piskolty, he's right there. No splitting these guys after 2 runs. But it looked to me, and I'm only going to put it out there because I have the voice, I might not have the knowledge, but it looked to me like maybe Correia's lead run was better than Piskolty's.
Well, I'm glad you said it because it was right on the tip of my tongue. I'm going to say that Correia looked like the stronger driver, and I think that the reason why he wasn't rewarded a better chase earlier on was because Piskolty didn't have such a good lead. I think Correia, out of both of these two drivers, is potentially the better one. The lead for me from Correia was absolutely textbook, Dave. Look at
those two markers on the track.
Look how deep he goes.
Like
he runs the wall on the inside of the circuit.
I'm not sure we've watched any drivers get that wide on that outer zone, and he absolutely nails the next one as well. I mean, that is, in my personal opinion, one of the best lead runs we've seen all day. And I'm not taking anything away from Kevin Piskolty. He's done a great job staying with it. But to me, Piskolty has a great lead, a good lead. But that was a great lead. Now, look at proximity. Piskolty was super close on the initiation. He was there the whole way through the track. That's going to count for something. But look at Diogo Correia takes out Max Heidrich. Then he took out Peter Więcek. Can he take out Kevin Piskolty, or Piskolty do enough to get himself into his first ever top 4? A lot of love between the two drivers on the track. These guys know how much it means for guys who are sometimes not getting the rewards every round to get this far in the competition. Decisions are coming in, and it is what we thought. Diogo Correia gets the win. He can't believe it. The emotions flow from the Portuguese driver as he finishes higher, no matter what happens from this point on, higher than any other Portuguese driver in the history of European drifting. And Diogo Correia is in the top 4. Incredible.
Unbelievable, Dave. And you know what? That young man, we've said it before, he has been at the cusp of getting this far. He's been at the cusp of breaking through, and he has gone through a lot of heartbreak. He's ready to make a move, and this weekend could be the weekend. I said it at the beginning of the weekend. I had that sense in the air that this could be the weekend that someone new shows their face to a podium.
Well, we've been waiting a long time for Correia to pull the trigger, and today is the day, and he is into the final 4. We now move back to the one more time. We haven't decided this one because it's a huge battle for the championship. It's a one more time between Conor Shanahan and Juha Rintanen. No separating them the first time out. I am not sure if anybody's got any more energy for this, but we've got to pull through because it keeps coming. The adrenaline in this event is almost exhausting because everybody is on it, and these two guys have been on it from the start. Rintanen punches the steering wheel and says, we're going back at it again. They're going to go closer, they're going to go harder, they're going to go on the walls more. Conor Shanahan, Rintanen, here we go.
Look at this through the gears. They've felt each other out. They know the car setups, they know the grip levels, and they fire in. Shanahan's dialed this car up. He wants more grip, he wants more power. Look at this though, Rintanen close in the zone, on the wall he goes, gives Shanahan the room to manoeuvre. They fire through, and Shanahan absolutely bails away. He now drives away from Rintanen as Rintanen shortcuts the circuit to try and gain back lost ground. Rintanen now on the ropes against Shanahan on the wall.
I don't know what Conor Shanahan has done to that car, between battle 1 and 2, but he's put a lot of grip in it. There's a lot more speed in Conor's.
That must be uncomfortable.
That is a lot of grip in that car, and it might not have paid off, but it looks like it did. Rintanen has a fast car. We talked about it on the first half. He hasn't really struggled to stay with anybody. He couldn't catch Conor Shanahan there right after outer zone 1. Now, what I do love is Rintanen chasing Shanahan into outer zone 2 and staying just as wide. Look at this. Both cars buried in the wall. But as they come through this transition, look, Shanahan, a little clever, off the throttle, and away we go, and Rintanen can't catch him here.
No, he can't catch him. He's up and gone, Dave, at this point, and you can see Rintanen really shortcutting the circuit, really having to think about every move he makes, and he goes for a dive, and he tags him, and has to back out of it and then get back onto it again. Rintanen really now on the ropes, Dave, I'd say.
I was just about to comment that Conor Shanahan has been hit in every single battle.
Every battle,
and the car's still in one piece. Incredible. Juha Rintanen now in the lead position. We saw Conor Shanahan struggle a little bit to stay with Juha Rintanen, but I think he's got that car turned up to 11 now. This is going to be interesting to see if Shanahan has the pace this time around, or will Rintanen come through and win this event like he did the last one. Shanahan dives in the chase position. Rintanen super wide to the wall. Look at that lead line from Juha Rintanen as he goes out to the edge of the circuit. Shanahan staying with him. Early transition. Shanahan almost smashes the back end off Rintanen's car, but they're both in this as they come towards the end. Shanahan struggling a little bit for pace, but as they go up to the wall, here we go. Rintanen to the wall. Shanahan up onto the door. That is top tier, world-class drifting. No matter where you go in the world, that's what you want to watch, and they are blowing the roof off this place.
I have no words, Dave. I have no words.
Well, you're paid for a few, Ian, so you have to find some.
Right, then we'll dig deep for these ones then. I mean, where do you go from that? And do you know what? I don't like to pick sides. I don't like to make assumptions. But that chase run from Shanahan sealed the deal for me in that battle.
It's the transition here. Watch this from Conor Shanahan.
On the door,
look at the back of Rintanen's car.
Oh, and look at this. No one else has done that. No one else has been there through that part of the circuit. No one else has made a move like that, Dave.
And that's what kept him closer than Rintanen. I think there's no major errors from either driver, but the little risky move from Shanahan in the middle, which could have gone absolutely wrong for him. He's done something no one else has done. He's found an area to get an advantage, and it might just be enough. We'll see which way the judges go as a Final Four competitor needs to be decided. I've got to say, that is just unbelievable driving from both of these guys. We've waited a long time this season to see real close door-on-door action because a lot of guys getting used to new setups. Well, we're seeing it in spades, and who's going to go through to the Final Four? It's Conor Shanahan. Conor Shanahan gets the win, goes through to the Final Four, and one Shanahan eliminates one Finnish driver in our top 8. And we have another little rematch of a Shanahan versus a Finnish driver later on, which I'm sure everybody here is waiting. There's not many fingernails left in Finland right now. But Juha Rintanen goes out in the Great 8, but you know what? He went out swinging. Amazing stuff from Conor Shanahan and Juha Rintanen. And Conor Shanahan goes into the Final Four. Ian, it's getting very hot and heavy here.
It certainly is getting very hot and heavy. You know, you spoke about another Shanahan versus another Finnish driver. Well, we haven't got to wait for long for that one, Dave, because they're warming up the tyres now on the back of those cars, ready to go out and do battle. And it will, of course, be the one and only Lauri Heinonen to take on Jack Shanahan.
Well, the Finnish fans now have only one driver left in the competition, but it's a good one. It's Lauri Heinonen. It's the man that's the highest in the championship right now. And what's happening here in the burnout box as we see some panic around Lauri Heinenen's car. So I'm not sure what's going on. And if you want drama, sometimes you don't. But we're getting a lot of it today. So hopefully Lauri Heinenen's car is okay. But something's happening down there. We're getting reports from the start line, Marcin. You can see Marcin running down to Lauri Heinonen, and there's something up here. Lauri Heinonen having an issue with the car in the burnout box, and I'm going to keep as much information your way, guys, as I can.
So I'm hearing it. Apparently, he's lost the power steering.
He's lost power steering in the car.
Has lost power steering in the car.
So Lauri Heinonen has a choice here to either retire from the competition or to try and run this car without power steering into one of the most dangerous tracks of the year. I don't know.
Mean, look,
what do you do?
I mean, look, he's got no other option. He has to run it.
But it's dangerous without power steering on a car that needs power steering. Is it electronic power steering? That's
yeah,
the thing.
I'm guessing it's electronic power steering. And look, you can see him trying to work the switch, trying to work it out. I think Lauri Heinonen will risk it. I think he'll risk it because he's got too much at stake, Dave. There's too much on the line right now to not risk it.
I'm not sure it's...
The last Finnish driver standing.
Well, with that first corner, Ian, I mean, that's a car killer if you don't have power steering. He's no power steering. He's signaling. Now he has to go with no power steering. Now, I'm sure they could fix it if he won the battle, but going up against Jack Shanahan with wounded is essentially what he's going to be doing here. This is all against Lauri Heinonen right now.
and an eerie silence around the arena here as the fans.
Everybody has turned to face the big screens in attendance so they can see what's going on. Look, bonnet is open.
Something going on with Lauri Heinenen's car here, and I'm not too sure what the issue is, or can they have a very limited amount of time here to try and get this sorted on the start line. And the battle hasn't started yet, so we haven't got to the countdown. But what I will say is there is not a lot of time. So Lauri Heinonen trying to get his power steering going on this car, and they're trying to jump start the power steering pump in. I'm not a technical man, as you know, but what are they trying to do here?
I mean, you said it, not me, Dave. Right, so apparently the crew are allowed a few moments to pull to the line, to look at the car, because technically, and as the rules go in the rule book, Lauri Heinonen hasn't pulled to the start line.
So right now we've got them checking the multimeter just to make sure there's voltage going to the power steering.
Yeah.
They're turning on and off the car to kind of jump it to see if it will come on, if it's some sort of electrical issue. They're not going to have a whole lot of time to fix this. So the question is, will Lauri Heinonen make it to the line in time or not? Will Jack Shanahan get the win? Will Lauri Heinonen try and run this car without power steering? Marston's going to be saying to them, you ain't got much time here, guys. You got to get this thing going. And they're putting on and off buttons. They're trying to reset things in the car. They're trying to get things moving. I'm not too sure what's happening here. This is an interesting development on the start line. Lauri Heinonen having issues, Ian, not what you want. It's going to be very distracting as well for him.
It certainly is going to be very distracting. It's the last thing that you need to happen when you pull up to the line for a battle. You know, it's a car calls you an issue straight away. And you know what, as a driver, that really kind of rocks you straight away, because you then sitting there saying, well, is this going to work for the whole run, or am I going to have a problem on a transition? Who knows? The whole of this stadium has gone eerily silent as they all anticipate the final finish driver. Is he going to make it to the line, or is he not going to make it to the line, Dave?
I think he's going to retire. I think that's what I'm hearing in my headset. I think he's going to retire because an electronic power steering, he can't steer the car. Even with no power steering, the car will not turn. So we're hearing some words that it may be Jack Shanahan doing a bye run, and we may be robbed of one of the greatest battles this weekend. And Lauri Heinenen's car coming out of the burnout box may be a mechanical failure here. Marston's walked away. I'm hearing some news from the pits that Lauri Heinonen, he's got a decision to make. He's told he's got to make that decision now. He either runs it or he can't. But because it's electronic, it was hydraulic.
Oh, he's been told. He's been told by our start line marshal Martin. He had his arms up, making the cross. That means our start line marshal Martin has deemed it unsafe to run, Dave.
And you got to feel for Lauri Heinonen here. He's so, I mean, there's good points in the bag for the championship, but it's not the way he wanted to leave the competition. So Jack Shanahan furious. Jack Shanahan is furious that Lauri Heinenen's car is broken because he wanted to beat Lauri Heinonen, you know what? He didn't want to win this way. No driver wants to win this way. And Lauri Heinonen saying that because it's electronic power steering, you don't have any steering. If it's hydraulic, you can kind of try and make it work, but something very strange with that system, not allowing him to steer the car, and that is the image you're getting right now, as Lauri Heinonen sitting in the burnout box, and Jack Shanahan just having to initiate into this corner to go through to the final four. Not what we wanted, but that is the tale of the tape. We knew there'd be roller coaster emotions here in Finland, well, very figuratively and literally this whole weekend.
Oh man, you know what? And I've just looked out the window above the commentary booth, and the whole of the stadium has gone deadly silent. Nobody here can believe what we've just witnessed. Jack Shanahan, though, he's going to go for a bye run, and Lauri Heinonen is just going to take that car clean off the circuit. He knows he can't continue, and he can barely turn the steering wheel down to take it out of the arena. And Jack Shanahan finishes up the run. He will get the win and move into the final four.
And what I can't believe, I mean, in the ovation from the Finnish fans for Lauri Heinonen as he pulled off the circuit there. Look, every day is a new day, and Lauri Heinenen's had some really good ones this season. He's still very much in the championship fight, but unfortunately for Lauri Heinonen, the car lets him down, and it happens. You know, it does. As I always say, this is always, you talk about horsepower, it's like a horse race. You got to have a good jockey and a good horse, and I've never seen a jockey win a race on his own.
On his own.
No. So the horse let him down, but you know what? They'll fix that problem. They'll have a good look through it, and what you're going to see there from that perspective is Lauri Heinonen bow out of competition, meaning Jack Shanahan will go through to the final four, setting up our final couple of drivers into that final four. And right now, it's going to be very interesting to see which way this one plays out. We are into the final, but we'll see which way it lands. We got it here on your screens. It is going to be an interesting one to kick us off. We got two Shanahans in this. We got Conor Shanahan going up against Eryk Goczał. And Goczał's taking out everybody today. So Conor Shanahan will be watching that young man come through all the competition, very worried. And then it's going to be Diogo Correia, the unstoppable Portuguese Diogo Correia, taking on Jack Shanahan. We could have a Shanahan versus Shanahan final. We could have a Portuguese versus Polish final. We have no idea what's about to happen. It's getting very unpredictable here in the PowerPark. Let's head to our final four. We started with 57 drivers. We are down to our final four. It will be Conor Shanahan, who's taken out Kalle Rovanperä. He's taken out Juha Rintanen. Well, now he has to go up against Eryk Goczał, who's been doing some damage himself on the other side of the bracket, and he's very, very fast. Eryk Goczał, you may not know his name right now, but I can guarantee in about 5 minutes' time, you'll never forget it, because this guy is ready to take this championship by storm. But he's got to go through one of the championship contenders in Conor Shanahan. Shanahan's done the thing. He's come in. He's beaten the big stars. He's made a name for himself. Eryk Goczał wants to do exactly the same. Well, sitting beside him on the line is one of those guys that if you beat him, everyone's talking about you tomorrow. Goczał will know what's on the line here, and he's pumped up and ready to go. It's the first semi-final of round 3 of the Drift Masters European Championship. They're slotted into gear. They're ready to put on a show. Here we go.
Yeah, they're through the start line, and here we go, through the gears they go, down. Shanahan flicks that car, but look at Eryk Goczał, he knows he can't let him get away, goes for a little cheeky dive up the inside, but it doesn't really pay off, he has to jump on the foot brake, but now he applies the pressure. The Polish driver looks down, through he goes, and wavers and wanders and looks for the side of Shanahan's GT86 as he makes another dive on outside zone 5. Looks for him once again on the foot brake as Shanahan balances that car in that final outside zone, but Goczał is right there.
Whoa, and he smashes him over the finish line. This is an incredible event. This track, this atmosphere, everything about it has just been the most memorable Drift Masters event I can think of in a very long time. We've had huge upsets, we've had crazy wins, we've had crashes galore in qualifying, we've had thunderstorms, we've had lightning, and now we have two of the best youngsters on the grid going door to door, and I mean that literally. Around that track, smashing each other around the track. Goczał here has a couple of wobbles in the center section of the track, and Shanahan looks like he's on rails, but look at this dive from Goczał as he comes down the hill, and look at these transitions as they come into the final corner. Watch how close, into the door he goes, tags the door
and runs the wall.
And as they go over the finish line, Goczał doesn't even come off the throttle, he just pushes Shanahan back to the start line. This is what it's all about.
That's insane. That camera view of the door on door, tagging the wall. Oh,
look at the tire marks on each door of each car.
Look, he's like, yeah.
He is loving this. Eryk Goczał, all smiles to the camera. We are not finished by any means in imagination here as Conor Shanahan says, oh, is that what you got? Oh, you want to do a little door-on-door push-in? Wait till you see this. That's what is in Conor Shanahan's mind right now. Conor Shanahan wants that finally. He hasn't had the best start to the season. He's had a sketchy, round 1 and round 2. But right now he's saying, oh, you want to play those games? Well, I've been here a lot longer than you, buddy. Look at the tire marks on the wheel of Conor Shanahan's.
Look at that. The vinyl wrap is in the tyre spoke of Conor Shanahan's car.
Wow, so
that's how close Goczał was.
Goczał taking, there was some livery on Shanahan's car. Here we go. It's going to be the second half of this battle. Marcin is ready to send him, and this is going to be a crazy conclusion to one of the best battles we've seen today. Goczał in the lead, Shanahan in the final. It's all up to this.
Yeah, this is for a spot in the final awaits. Oh, wow, what an initiation from Eryk Goczał, and he's up on the wall. Oh, but he makes a mistake, and he debeads a tyre.
He went in the wall. He went in the wall. He hit the wall hard. Suspension damage for Eryk Goczał. He went in so fast, he couldn't stop it, and look at the back end of that car. He has destroyed it. Shannon's like, see you later, buddy. Better luck next time as he heads to the final. And it looks to me like Eryk Goczał smashed into the wall. You know what?
I think he done both rear wheels. There is some serious damage to the car because the car won't even drive in a straight line. That is serious damage. Yeah, he backed that car in.
He went for it. He went for the big move. He went for that. Yeah, well, Shanahan was too consistent. He had to go for it, but he absolutely fired the car in. A little bit of curb there, probably sped the car up a little bit more as well. But as he comes through here, we get clouded in the smoke. Boom, he goes into the wall. We'll see it from the other angle here. It's a lot more severe. And as he comes in front of the grandstand, he goes on big angle. He's not slowing that car down enough. And as they get to here, look, bang, into the wall. And then Shanahan hits the other side of the car. So he gets sandwiched between the wall and Shanahan, and Shannon's like, there's none of my car left now at this stage. He's hit every single panel, and that's why both sides of the car absolutely destroyed. And we haven't seen him since top 32, but the recovery man's like,
wow.
I knew it wasn't time to clock off just yet.
He was ready to go home, and he was like, no, a few more battles to go. So that is how that played out. Look at the dent on the door of Shanahan's car, where they've just been going wheel to wheel constantly.
So you know when people say you drive the wheels off the car?
Literally.
Eryk Goczał has no wheels left on the car, on the back of the car, and he's over the moon. He's still cheering.
He's still happy.
He's still happy, and it looks to me like Eryk Goczał. And remember, this is the final four, so if he can get that car fixed, he's still got a shot at coming back. He's still got another battle to go. So I mean, don't be relaxing right now, Eryk Goczał's team, because you might have more work to do, and the whole back end of the car is destroyed. I'm not sure if they'll have the time to fix it, but it is going to be official. Conor Shanahan goes through to the final. Conor Shanahan gets the win and goes through to his first final of 2023. Nick Bright, you're down with Conor Shanahan. It was a big moment on that first corner. He was lucky to come away with both cars not in the wall.
Yeah, I'm with Conor right now. Absolutely buzzing. First final of the season, mate.
Yeah, for sure, man. This one means a lot. It's been a challenging couple of weeks. I've been struggling to find a rhythm a little bit, and finally everything is perfect with the car. A massive thank you to my incredible partner, DBM Engineering. He stuck with me. Jeroen and Flo done an incredible job, and I always believed in them that they will give me the car what I need. To everybody else, my whole team, they've been working hard. It's a brand new team. This is their first final also. Everybody here hasn't even experienced this, so I'm just looking forward to sharing this moment with them. I would have liked a better battle, but obviously he pushed a little bit too hard in the lead run. I'm just happy. To all my friends, to my family at home supporting, to everybody in the Haven bar, all my close friends, yeah, I'm looking forward to putting on a show here.
Could be you and your brother as well.
Yeah, let's get it. Our first ever Drift Masters final. It will be nice.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Let's get it. There won't be a bit of a GT86.
I tell you what, Jack Shanahan's just sat in his car and he's gone, well, let's get it then.
I'll tell you what, Jack Shannon's got to do the business, but if Jack Shanahan and Conor Shanahan end up in the final, I'm going to advise everybody in attendance to stick around, because there will be small pieces of GT86 handed out to everybody here if that happens.
Like confetti.
Because there will be nothing left of those cars, and then they'll have to go back to the pits and then blame each other all the way through the night of who broke whose car. But we've got one man in the mix that I think would like to upset that party, and he's a quiet man who doesn't speak a whole lot of English, a bit like you, Ian, and his name is Diogo Correia from Portugal, and I'll tell you what, he's not even going to know what's going on. He's just like, I'm just going to absolutely smash everyone off the track and win this whole thing. And Diogo Correia, I think at this point in time, is starting to believe.
I think he does believe. And to be honest, if I was Diogo Correia, I'd believe as well. I'd say, boy, I've took down some sterling competitors this weekend, that's for sure. Okay, the Więcek battle, you know, it was a technicality, but he was still in the fight.
Yeah,
you can't take him out of it. He was still in that fight right until the end.
Got a question for you.
Yeah, I'm not very good with questions, but...
No. Do you think Eryk Goczał will get this car fixed for third and fourth? There's a lot
110%.
You think so? I'm thinking there's a lot of damage on that car. A lot of damage. Come on.
One's a wheel, a few suspension arms. They've got a whole battle yet.
It takes 6 weeks in your local mechanic.
Yeah, not with Eryk Goczał's crew, because he's like 50 people down there in that incredible pit setup he's got.
He's got so
Bear
much.
in mind, he's got a whole spare car with him.
He does, but at the same time, he's got very little time to get it together. Look at the back of that car. It's absolutely in ribbons. Eryk Goczał ends the run with no wheels in the top four. That's a classic Drift Master scenario there. No wheels, and very hard to win with no wheels. That's what we've learned.
I mean, he's a Dakar driver as well. He would finish the
he probably would have taken it home on the rims, yeah. So we've got Diogo Correia against Jack Shanahan. Normally, on ranking systems, you'd say, oh, Jack Shanahan's coming in here as the favourite. On a day like today, I've said that 14 times and been wrong. I am now thinking Diogo Correia has the advantage, because Diogo Correia is the wild horse in this. He's the guy nobody knows. I mean, Jack Shannon's going to go, don't know what this guy's going to do. You know, he's not someone he's battled a whole lot before. And Correia, his lead run in his last battle was sensational, in my opinion. I think, even though Jack Shanahan will be sort of showing his hand first in the lead position, Correia knows, everybody knows how good Jack Shanahan is in the lead position. He's going to know that it's going to be fast, it's going to be fluid. He's going to give Correia all the confidence to go close here.
He certainly is. He's going to give him all the confidence to go close here, but we know Diogo Correia from old, Dave, and he does like a crash.
He loves a crash. You know what else he loves? wowing us.
Wowing us,
So it's
yeah.
gonna you're gonna pick a card here. One of them is going to be a crash. One of them is going to be a win. And he's
I'm going to go for the wow one.
I'm going to go for the wow one as well because I think he's on it today.
He is.
Diogo Correia from Portugal will chase in Jack Shanahan. He's got the machinery, he's got the grip, and he's got the belief. Can he take down and spoil the Shanahan party here by taking out Jack Shanahan here in the top 4? Jack Shanahan hasn't reached the top 4 this year yet, so the Shanahan's coming back on form at round 3. Here we go.
Yeah, look at this. Shanahan already absolutely flying, but Correia not messing around. Correia wants it. He dials on the angle. He's on the door already. If Shanahan's 86, he's closer than anyone on outside zone 2. Correia is hungry for a win, and he looks for the transition, and he makes it work. And Correia goes tight to the wall. Did he get in the wall? As Correia now transitions back, he lost some ground. They look back for outside zone 6 and up onto the outside zone 7 they go, and Correia gets back on the wheel.
I think you were right, Ian. I think he's hit the wall.
I think he
got clouded. The wall got clouded with Shanahan's smoke. He didn't know where the wall was, and he smashed into it. And I don't know if that back wheel is straight. I think he's got suspension damage on the back of that car. I'm not sure he'll be able to run in the second half of the battle. I'm jumping way ahead here, but I'm just thinking he hit a big hit there, and it looked to me like that back wheel was wobbling. Now watch this on your replays, and the drone shot will be absolutely perfect as he comes through. This is incredible from Correia. He's all over Shanahan as they go through here, but he's so close on the transition that he can't see that outer wall. And as he transitions back, watch Correia start to wash wider than Shanahan here, and the back of Correia's car, boom, hits the wall, and that's an immovable wall, ladies and gentlemen. That's concrete. So as he comes through, I'm not sure that back wheel is 100%. It's hard to see, but it looked to me as they rolled off the finish line, it looked to me like Correia's got suspension damage on that car.
Watch this.
Look at the back wheel. Look at the back of the car.
Oh, it massively
It's wobbling. It's definitely wobbling, and it straightens the car. Oh, I don't know. Will Correia be able to come back out? Will we have a third and fourth place playoff with people that cannot finish a run because their wheels aren't pointing in the right direction? But I know Marston's going to have a look. Maybe it's just taking a chunk out of the wheel. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it was just a bit of dirt on the wheel. We don't know. But Marston says, well, look at this stage now. We're here far enough. We're going to let him run. So Correia's going to run. There isn't any safety issue on the car. He has done some suspension damage, but not enough to stop him driving. Yeah. He's going to have a disadvantage, though.
I'm being told he's good to go. He wants to run it, so he is going to run it, and he's going to run it in the lead position against Jack Shanahan. They fire through. Shanahan looks down now. He knows he may have an advantage in this battle already, but he's still going to push 110%. Shanahan goes door to door and wheel to wheel across the centre of the circuit. Look at this. Shanahan pushing Correia through the middle of the track. He wants that final with his brother more than ever. And Shanahan's car pops up and down and pops through the smoke as he jumps up onto the door. Oh, wow!
Well, you know what? Jack Shanahan, we had an interview with him yesterday, and he said, I haven't found my groove. I don't know if it's me or the car. He said it's probably me. He looked like a dejected driver. He looked like someone that had lost his mojo, someone that thought they'd lost it. They used to be one of the best, and now they're not anymore. Poor round 1, poor round 2 by his standards. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He may be going to the final here and rectifying all of that and jumping right up in the championship and maybe facing his own flesh and blood in the final of round 3. Because to me it looked like Diogo Correia did nothing wrong except one thing, and that was hit that wall on the first run, and it was enough to mess up what was 2 sensational runs. Correia's lead run was fantastic.
Look at the angle, Dave. The transitions were just absolutely phenomenal.
But for us, from the initial viewpoint, it looked to me like Correia hits the wall, makes an error. In that first run, the advantage was a Shanahan, and he took advantage of it. He went out there, but Correia will have a third and fourth place if that's how it played out. We don't know yet. The results aren't official. We're just speculating what's happened, but sometimes things are a little bit more obvious than others, and it hasn't been an obvious day for the judges, but this time it is. It is going to be Jack Shanahan getting the win and going through to the final to face his own brother for a top step on the podium. And both Shanahans will know, irregardless of what way it goes, first and second trophies are going to be in the same truck going home, so they'll be happy with that one. Maybe the pressure off, and maybe they can just go and have some fun, and that's a dangerous proposition. Nick, you're down with Jack Shanahan. He's got his brother ahead of him in the final. It's a dream Shanahan weekend.
Yeah, a dream Shanahan weekend is what the commentary team are saying. You must be absolutely buzzing, Jack.
Oh, Jesus. We've dreamed about this final for a long time, so I don't even care now. I'm just going to go and absolutely blow the doors off him and see what happens, you know. So I've had a lucky run to here, you know. I've had a good day considering, but it's time to put it all on the line now. It doesn't matter who's top step, just send it.
How do you approach a final against your brother? The same as you always do, or do you do something a little bit different?
No, you just go and have as much fun as you can. Once the helmet's on, he's another competitor, you know. So we're brothers once we get back here, but when we get past the first initiation, I don't care who it is.
Well, listen, well done for this. I know you guys have been pushing for it for a long time, so congrats.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. Thank you very much.
Well, there it is. That's a little bit more of a happy Jack Shanahan than, and I tell you what, he'd be a little happier if he beats Conor in the final. I think he'd be a little bit happier then.
How many years have been waiting for this, though?
Well,
everyone's been waiting for this.
Back in the day, in the back in the Irish Drift Championship years ago, we've seen this battle a couple of times, and I think, if I'm correctly thinking, they've faced each other something like 6 times, and it's been 3 wins for Jack and 3 wins for Conor. Then they go up a big stage to the top of the Drift Masters tree, and this could be a little bit of a decider here of who is the better brother and who is the better driver. And I'll be honest with you, I think whoever finishes higher will be higher in the championship too. I'm just putting it out there. That's how I think it's going to play out. I know there's a couple extra points for Conor for the qualifying and stuff, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. And then we're going to see Diogo Correia go up against Eryk Goczał, who there's not a wheel between them at this stage to get out to that third, fourth place playoff. Every car
Maybe
wrecked.
they could just share a car.
I think at that stage you need to borrow 2 more cars and go back out there. So they're busy in the pits, I'd imagine, right now, Correia's team and Goczał's team, trying to get those 2 cars ready for a 3rd and 4th place. And whoever gets that step on the podium, that will be their first ever Drift Masters podium. So a huge, huge moment for either of those drivers, and a horrible moment for whoever doesn't get there and you know what I mean, gets 4th.
Do you know what, Dave? I don't think it is a horrible moment for whoever doesn't get there, because both of those guys have come here this weekend saying, you know, we're not really doing a whole lot in the championship. We go there, we compete, we have fun, and we enjoy the weekends with this travelling circus around Europe. It's a brand new circuit. Let's see what happens. And I think for either of those 2 guys to get this far this weekend, it's a smile on the face. You walk away and you go, remember that weekend in Finland?
Do you know what? I'm going to throw a couple. Well, we got a moment before the 3rd and 4th. I'm going to throw a couple of stats I've just written down beside me.
Stats?
And you know me, I'm not good with stats. But here's a couple of interesting ones. We've had 3 rounds, halfway through the championship.
Yep.
We've had 3 rounds. We will have 3 different winners, guaranteed. And everybody who's gone in to a round as the championship points leader has gone out at the first stage of competition in top 32. So do you want to be the championship leader leaving Finland
it's a
to
bad
go into
sign.
Riga and keep that form going? Well, what it shows is how open this championship is. We know we will have a Shanahan winner and a Shanahan in second, but we don't know which one. But what I loved, I mean, sport, right? We've seen it in the past. When it's a family member versus a family member, there's a little bit there. And I think it's a relaxed vibe, because I think, you know, when you're against a competitor you don't know, you're wondering, is that person going to, you know, are they going to be really annoyed at you afterwards? I know for a fact the Shanahans are going to go in and go, and I think they're probably going to have a little team talk here and say, look, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people watching. Do you think we could go out and do one of those runs that everybody remembers like 10 years from now, where we did the most incredible chase driving and lead driving anybody's ever seen? And if we get it completely wrong, it doesn't matter. We still get the 2 trophies. They are sort of pressure off here. Whereas if they were on separate teams, they certainly wouldn't be giving an inch. But I have a feeling there'll be no games in this. This will be absolutely slamming doors in the final. We could have one of the greatest highlight reel finals. I know I'm building it up, but they have the same car.
Yeah.
They've got pretty much the same kind of style. I would say a little bit different. Conor a bit more calculated, Jack a little bit more flashy.
Wild, yep.
But if you put those 2 together, they'll suit nicely into this battle. And I can guarantee you the Shanahans have just thrown every spanner on the ground. The whole team said, well, there's no point in worrying about it anymore. It's going ahead. So right now we have 4 drivers remaining. We've got 3 trophies, and we're going to have 1 winner. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading to the final. Welcome back to a theme park in Finland, which, as crazy as it sounds, has been the setting for the craziest roller coaster of emotions the Drift Masters Championship has ever seen. We've had shock upsets. We've had people who have never got this far in competition now sit with a chance of a trophy. We've got 2 brothers going head-to-head in the final, and we're not even finished. So right now we have Diogo Correia. He's made it back. Not much of the back of his car has made it back, but he's made it back to the line, and there's a minute clock now on Eryk Goczał to get back to the line. Is that what I just saw drive by? Was that Eryk Goczał? That was Correia.
That was Correia. So Correia has been requested to warm his tyres, and as soon as he's finished warming his tyres and he pulls to the line, that 2-minute start clock will begin. But we do know that Eryk Goczał has been given a 1-minute warning to proceed to the tyre warming area. So we may not see Eryk Goczał and the team get his car fixed.
You know what, I predicted it earlier on. I said it's a lot of damage to fix in a short space of time. I'm not questioning whether they have the parts. It's the time. I mean, how do you get a full back end of a car with no wheels on it back together in, what, 10 minutes? That's not easy to do no matter how many people you have. There's only so many people that can fit under a car.
No, this is true. This is very, very true. But you know what, Dave? We've seen worse in the past, and we've seen them make it to the line.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it does look like
if Diogo Correia, if we don't see an Eryk Goczał very, very soon, we are going to have Diogo Correia take automatically third step on the podium, and that means we are getting information from our marshals very soon whether or not this is one way or the other.
Yeah, so we do start the 2-minute clock now. So with Diogo Correia pulling to the start line after warming the tyres. Here we go. That 2-minute start clock has begun. So
the longest 2-minute clock in the world for Diogo Correia,
yeah,
and the shortest for Eryk Goczał to get to the line. So will he make that 2-minute clock? It's going to be very, very tight. I'm looking around. We're up very high here in the tower, and I'm trying to see if I can see anything, any movement in the paddock right now. I can't see Eryk Goczał's pit area, so I don't know if they are very close or far away. But everybody here is holding their breath, and it seems to me like this might be a bridge too far for Eryk Goczał to see if he can fix this.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we have to give him all the time available, Dave, and as soon as that clock reaches 0, the start line will go amber and then go green, and Correia will be released off the line, and it could be a bio run.
So we're getting official word. He's out. He's
out.
Retired from the competition. We don't even need to wait for the clock.
Oh, wow.
He says he cannot fix that car if he was given 20 minutes. He said there's some subframe damage on the back of the car, and it's moved the differential and a few other things, so it's not as simple as putting some suspension arms on. The car is badly damaged. Remember, it got hit from one side of the wall and the other side from Conor Shanahan, and that is going to be the victory lap for the Portuguese man, Diogo Correia, the first ever trophy in Drift Masters to go to a Portuguese driver, and it's going to be Diogo Correia, and of course it is. He is now the man to beat in Portugal. He is their most successful driver in history, and again, now he's got the result to back it up. Ian, we've been talking about him as a rising star for over 2 years. Well, now he's justified it.
He certainly has justified it, Dave. And you know what? We pipped him a few years ago when he made his appearance here at the Drift Masters European Championship. We said, this young guy's got some talent. He's got the car, and he came back the next year with a new car, and he said a new program. And all over these years, he's been refining the program, and he's been sticking with it. And now he's been rewarded, and today really showed what he's got. As you can see here, he's not going to push 110%, Dave. It is only a buy run. He doesn't want to risk the car. It's only 3 weeks' time until we go to Riga in Latvia.
Well, we can't accuse him of not pushing hard enough. There's nothing left at the back of the car as it is. So he's going to get the official call here, and Diogo Correia will take third step on the podium in Finland. The Portuguese driver achieving more than he's ever done before, and he's had a war zone to go through and survive to get here in the competition. Great stuff. Great to see the hard work paying off, from crashes in Mondello to spin-outs in Sweden to podium in Finland. That's how it works, and this is the tail of the tape. If you look at your screens now, I mean, I'm pretty sure if there was betting on this sport, the bookies would be cleaning up right now because nothing is predictable. It means we have one more battle left to go, and it will be brother v brother. Shanahan versus Shanahan, Conor versus Jack. Let's head to the final. Well, it all comes down to this. All the marbles. Conor Shanahan versus Jack Shanahan. The spotters have taken their headsets off. The tools are down in the pits. No radio communication, just letting the two boys go out there and win it on the track. They've said, what we're going to do now is we're not going to communicate with anybody. We're just going to reverse into the wall a little bit for Jack Shanahan. He's not afraid of hitting any walls out there. And Jack and Conor are going to say, this is just for pride. They're happy that 1 and 2 are going to the Shanahans. But I'll tell you what, if we got to Poland at the end of the season, and one of these guys were in the championship fight, these little points between second and first will mean a whole lot then. So as Jack Shanahan said, brothers off the track, brothers behind the scenes, well, they're going to be enemies for the next 3 or 4 minutes on the track, because both have a point to prove of who is the higher ranked Shanahan. Conor's been taking the headlines of late. Jack hasn't found his groove, but this is the time to win an event and get back in the championship race. Conor Shanahan versus Jack Shanahan. The script is written, but the last sentence hasn't been. Who will win? This is incredible. What a sport. What a venue. What an amazing audience we've had all weekend. And now, brother v brother in the final. The few last gulps of air before he closes the door for Jack Shanahan. Conor Shanahan, the higher qualifier, first place qualifier, will lead them in. Marston gives the word. The lights will go green. And here we are, brother versus brother for top step on the podium.
Through the gears they go. Shanahan versus Shanahan. Wow, and no messing around. Jack almost makes contact with Conor on the initiation. They're both up and into the wall. And Jack is all over the side of his brother's GT86, on the curb, on the door, on the wall. Does Does it make sense? They're not going to let it make sense as they fire through. Separation as Jack gives Conor the room to manoeuvre now. As Jack once again looks for a side of his brother's car and he batters him across the line.
Wow, unbelievable driving from both the Shanahans. There was at least 4 or 5 door hits in that run, and Jack Shanahan taking no prisoners as he goes to the door and pushes it in on Conor Shanahan across the line. It was a very tricky entry. Jack Shanahan was super close there, Ian.
Yeah, he almost made contact. It looked like he did make contact. The car kind of jumped up and down a little bit, but then look at this outside zone. You can barely squeeze the drone between these two guys. As he's on the handbrake, looks across, he says, I know the sight of that car alongside me, but this is phenomenal. Watch this as a transition almost takes the back end off of the car. They go to the wall, and Jack says, I'm going to push him as hard and as fast as I can and see if we can really bang doors this weekend. But for me, it was the final outside zone when Jack literally planted his car on Conor's.
I mean, he's probably turned around and said, there you go, little brother. What you got?
What you got?
I started this game. You only followed me in. And that's, I mean, reminding him.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people out there needed a little reminding of how good Jack Shanahan was. This is where he went, look at that. Smashes into the door, pushes him across the line. And Conor Shanahan says, all right, okay, I get it. And then Jack says, I think you're going to have to push a little harder here, Conor. You're not going to have a walk over here. And then we've got one more, well, potentially one more run. The Shanahan team are like, please just let it be one more run. I don't know if we can go back and do a load more work to get these back out again. It's going to be Conor Shanahan in the chase position. Can he get as close as Jack was in his chase position? Last run of the event, potentially. And it's been one of those where we never know what's going to happen or who's going to take the win. Last run, Jack Shanahan in the lead, Conor Shanahan in the chase. Mono on mono, brother on brother, GT86 versus GT86.
Wow, look at Conor. He's not giving him an inch. He's not letting him move. He's going to barely let him breathe as he transitions through that inner zone. Down they come, and now Jack squeezes the accelerator, tries to separate him, but he can't. And Conor almost takes him out on the transition. He looks for the transition back, and Conor's closer than he was before. And now look at this as Conor repays the favour.
That's unbelievable driving. Unbelievable driving from the Shanahans, putting on a show for everybody in attendance, all you guys at home. This is why this sport is the fastest growing motorsport in the world, because of runs like that, from moments like that. Take a race that's 2 hours long, cram every exciting moment into 40 seconds, and that's what you just got. Absolute door-on-door tandem battles between two brothers who definitely don't want to take the loss today.
They certainly don't. Look at this. Break it down. How do you even break it down? This is inch perfect. Conor onto the door. No, you can look at, they're almost looking at each other in the eye through outside zone 2. Conor took a lot of risks there. These transitions were very, very, look at this, boom, through the smoke. Didn't even mess around. Oh, look at that again. Bam, through the smoke. Jack on an absolute flyer. Such a nice line, but Conor taking all the risks, and he gets closer there on outside zone 6 into outside zone 7 than Jack was, and Conor really does get up onto the door. It's almost a mirror image, run from run.
Well, the decisions have to come in from the judges for who's going to win this. Then we're going to open the floodgates, let the fans onto the track and head to the podium. We know Diogo Correia has taken third step for Portugal. We know Ireland are going to get first and second place, but in which order will it be? Jack Shanahan or Conor Shanahan to take the win? And the hug between the brothers says, you know what? It doesn't matter who wins because we put our best out there on the track. We went out swinging. We gave it absolutely everything. And here we are in the final in Finland. And Conor saying to him, I did this and I went in there and then you were there and I hit you. And he was like, I was there, Conor, I remember. So here we go. Who's going to take the win? Will it be Jack Shanahan? Will it be Conor Shanahan? Conor Shanahan gets the win at round 3 of the Drift Masters European Championship. Ian, he's taken the win. It's been an unbelievable day. He started by taking out Kalle Rovanperä. He finishes by taking out his own brother. I wouldn't stand near him anywhere in the after party tonight. He might take you out as well.
Well, look,
he's taking everybody out. So an unbelievable performance from Conor Shanahan. We're going to head towards the podium. Diogo Correia will join the Shanahan brothers up there. We are opening the gates and letting all of the Finnish fans onto the track to come over and congratulate these drivers. And I'll tell you what, Nick, you must be, the adrenaline down there must be wearing off, because what a finale between the two Shanahans. But it's Conor who pips Jack for the win.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable stuff, Conor. I mean, a special final anyway to be against your brother as the flag comes flying in. But, you know, how close was that? You were pinned to each other.
Yeah, I think that was all I got. To be honest, this is more than a final just in Finland. This is a final what is people, my family, never stop believing in me and Jack from day one. And we got to share a very special moment today. Our first ever European final. And I will always say one thing, never count the Shanahan out. We might have had 2 bad rounds, but we came back with a bang here. And I hope that we put on a show to every person in attendance. But as I said, I got to dedicate this win and this final to my mum and dad. They never stopped, you know, and now that it's a professional race team, it's honestly incredible. So to my team, their first ever podium as well. They're all new here this year with me. They believe me and everybody believed in me. And as I said before, everybody back home at Killaval, and yeah, I'll be home for a drink during the week for sure. But thank you so much. Drift Masters done an incredible job. To my partners, to my team, to my family. The list goes on, and I'm looking forward to celebrating this one tonight with everybody who deserves to be here. So I'm excited. That was a special one, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah, massive congratulations, my friend. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Well, there we go. Conor Shanahan wins round 3 of the 2023 Drift Masters European Championship, but what a way to do it. He does it alongside his very good brother, Jack. And there we go. This is the final results list for round 3. Conor taking first, Jack in second, and Diogo Correia takes third. Eryk Goczał in fourth, and then we see the list tumbling down. Heinonen in fifth with that mechanical failure. Rintanen takes 8th. Piskolty and Pesur out of nowhere this weekend take 6th and 7th. Więcek finishes up 9th, and 10th goes to the wildcard driver, the 4th place qualifier, Jarkko, who we all hope here at the Drift Masters European Championship decides to join the rest of the circus for the rest of the year, because what a guy he is. And there we go, if we look down the rest of the order for a few guys falling out, Dylan Garvey not making that top 32 battle, mechanical failure. Mikiva, a big name, dropping out in top 32 with mechanical problems, with the big spins. Unbelievable sights. And rounding out that 32 today, Kalle Rovanperä, the Finnish WRC champion, not making it through. Big contact with our winner today earlier on. So the crowds now flood the circuit. Dave has made his way towards the podium, and now the celebrations begin. But first, we're going to have an interview with Jack Shanahan with Nick Bright.
Yeah, Jack, you're still smiling. You know, it's disappointing to lose a final, I'm sure, but, you know, a special moment for you up against your brother.
Like I said, I didn't care who won. So we just went out, we had fun. It felt like we were back driving the bash cars and stuff, you know, so that's all that mattered. We just wanted to, like, once the two of us were in the final, I don't think he even cared if he won or lost, you know, so I was sure we put on a show, and that's all that matters. Is just happy to be here now.
Yeah, and I guess it means for you in the long run, you know that it's there. You know, you've had a troublesome start to the season. The first 2 rounds didn't go the way you wanted to, but now you've put it together. Yeah,
like I said, I had a lucky run, obviously, to get to the final today, but I'll take it any day of the week. You know, luck is obviously 50% part of this, like, so I'm just happy to be here now, you know. That's all that matters now.
And how are you guys going to celebrate tonight?
I don't know. I heard there's a couple of good DJs here, so we might be able to listen to some music.
Well, enjoy. Congratulations, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, there we go, very, very happy Jack Shanahan. He said he didn't care who won as long as it was one of the Shanahan brothers. Well, this is what everyone was waiting to see. And there it is on screen, the new championship standings after round 3. Shanahan, Conor takes the top of the championship at the moment. Lauri Heinonen still hangs in there in second place. Now Jack Shanahan jumps over all of the Finns and the other Irishman, Dwayne Mikiva, and moves himself into third. Juha Rintanen 6th in 4th. Dwayne Mikiva moves down to 5th. Więcek 6th in 6th place. Piskolty jumps up the order to 7th, and Kevin Pesur in the top 10 of the championship. Well, there we go. Look at this as we now see some big names tumbling down that championship order. And things halfway through the championship, well, they could be getting spicy as we head to the next round in Riga. Let's have a look at Riga. So Riga, baby, and here it is. This is what we've got to look forward to in 3 weeks' time. Well, Conor Shanahan, he's been on the podium before. Can he do it again? Who could do it again? We have seen some unbelievable battles. It is the party in the forest as these guys go head-to-head through one of the most dangerous circuits with 0 runoff, full speed through past the grandstand into a roundabout and back on themselves. Dave Egan always says it. Does it make sense? It doesn't have to make sense. In 3 weeks' time, the Drift Masters European Circus heads to Latvia for Riga, baby. And well, I know one name that'll be back on that start line list, but we'll see you there. From me, from everyone here at Drift Masters, we will see you in Riga, baby.